what's up, Dark Gravity? Sorry, man, we were on a tear there.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Friday Night Flicks. How's everybody doing?
Yo,
What's up, Dark Gravity?
How's it going?
Man, it's going good. I just got a notification that JuhVon is going live.
Yeah,
you get notifications that your own lives are going live?
I do.
That's
I
wild.
do.
I don't get that on my own
Well,
stuff.
I've got the YouTube open on another window because I pop out the chat because if I type to people in the chat, it auto populates their name instead of having to type out the whole name, right? When you're trying to, and when I type, if y'all can tell, my table's shaky. Can you see me shaky?
Uh-huh.
So I try not to type. And what's even worse is when I'm sitting here flicking knives, I've got a real bad habit as I fail it of putting my elbow on the table. So every time I flick it, it shakes my camera. So I've got to remember to just let the camera and everything chill because I've got all these booms and then just stay away from my table. But I forget all the time because I've got a squirrel brain.
Are you using a camera or your phone, John?
I'm using I've got the, my dining room table. When you walk in the front door, I've got a little mount, and then I've got a Logitech webcam that's doing my stream. I'm going to be using my phone, and I was talking to Pocket Metal this afternoon, except I really don't have the space. I wanted to have a top-down view at the same time. So if somebody wanted to feature, like tonight, we'll talk about some of Jason Grant, Brass Brigade's different knives. Look at his Instagram, and he's going to jump on guys hopefully about 9:40, 9:45, and he's going to show off some stuff, and he's going to do the giveaway. We're going to do that. What's that? Oh, yeah, you greet people, guys, because I'm just going to let you know what's going to happen. So he's going to give away a J-Cal that's really cool, and we'll look at that, what he's going to be giving away with some of his Killer Ranger eyes. And then I'm going to do a giveaway. I haven't decided what yet. And what we're going to do is Mangana Steel, Sharif. Y'all help me remember because I'm squirrely, Bod, and because you might not be here. Dark Gravity, you help me remember that we're going to get people to go to Sharif's page because he's like at about 800 subscribers, I think.
Yep.
And we're going to try to just get him a little bit of a subscriber push. And then I don't know exactly how we'll do it, but I'll figure it out because I'm tech savvy. We'll find a video over there. We'll leave a comment, and we'll do that earlier before Jason comes on. And then we'll pull from those comments. There won't be a lot of people to choose from, so y'all have really good odds, and we'll get Sharif some good subscriptions or a few. And if you guys are already subscribed to him, it's fine. Just leave a comment, whatever we decide that'll be, which I have no clue now because I fell asleep on the couch, and I've only got about 30 minutes of consciousness. And with my condition, it's a good hour and 15 minutes for me waking up before I can actually formulate thoughts. So I will get better as the night goes on. But what have you guys been up to today, Dark Gravity? Bod?
Work.
Bod told us you've been working all day. You got off at what, about 3:30?
No, I actually left work early today. I decided 50 hours was enough, so I left at 2:45.
You had to cut them a break, right? They figured the overtime's just that you didn't want to get another hinder this week.
No, they needed to save $5 or $6, so I left early.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
I'm going to go through the chat and just greet people real quick. Let's see who we got. We got Bobo in here. We got Marcos Gamma, Brandon Sutton. One Moon was in here earlier. Revolving Blades. Hey, man. Crispy Critter. Blaze Burger. What is up, guys? We've got El Cap Addict, my man. Of course, we've got Dark Gravity, Brand New American, Oliver Twist. I'm glad all you guys are here. I appreciate it. Revolving Blades. I'll probably read your name twice. Again, refer to earlier statement if you're watching this now that I'm not awake. Dan B, Ground Fog. All right. I think Gonzo, the man, the myth, the legend, D-Metal. I think I got everybody. Mark H and Mike Reese. I'm glad you guys are here. But yeah, I fell asleep. I got off work, which I worked from home today, but I was inundated. So I had the computer on, sitting on the couch, and sometime around 4:30, my narcolepsy kicked in, and I just fell asleep sitting up. And so I woke up, and it was dark, and it was like, I don't know, 30 minutes ago. So I was like, fuck. So I kind of stumbled around, fed the cat, fed the dog, because they were looking at me like, we thought you were dead. The cat was wondering, was she going to eat me? And the German Shepherd didn't know whether to go into mourning or not. So it was wild. So it was kind of a scramble. And then I was telling Bod before we went live, my headphones, I only wear them when I'm listening to other people, but I couldn't hear audio. I was sitting here trying to play Wharf Rat by the Grateful Dead, and I was hearing nothing. I was like, great. So I just went with it. But that's just a personal rant. But did everybody have a great week? Mine was long. It was a slog.
Yeah, mine was pretty much just holed up in this little cave that I'm in right now. But it was nice getting out on the bike for a bit today. It was real
Was
nice.
the weather nice down there in the 80s, sunny?
Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. 80s, sunny, nice, strong wind. Kept everything a little cool.
I took my mom to the airport on Thursday morning at 6:45. She flew down to Tampa. She had a boyfriend here for about 20 years, and when he was 90, he started having some really quick decline health problems, and ended up passing away really quick, which was sad, but he lived a great life, fantastic life. And it was during COVID, so it was just his daughter, me and my mom, and then he was a major founder of his church, so it was a minister and two other like sub-ministers, whatever you call them. I don't even remember what denomination it was, but it was my mom still feels that Mary Elizabeth, who ironically enough I grew up with, that's a whole other story. It's like a Shane story. I won't even go there. But mom still thinks of her as a daughter. So she went down because her daughter, Frank, who's passed away's granddaughter's getting married this weekend. So mom's in Tampa and said it was great. I mean, she was sitting on their balcony drinking at their house, drinking I forget what she told me she was drinking, some drink. She's German. My mom's in her 80s and probably can drink any of us under the table. And you would never know she's drunk.
That wouldn't take much, man. I drink like one night out of the year now. Every year on my birthday, I go to the brew pub.
Good for you.
They have this one. It's a Russian stout that they make that's 15%, and they serve it to you in these little itty bitty 4-ounce glasses. And I walk in the door on my birthday, and I walk straight up to the bar, and I say, "Give me 2 of those." And I go, and then I just sip through the rest of the night, and I'm stupid. And then I wake up the next morning, and I go, "It's the last time I'm doing that for a year."
But I love to hear stories like that, because last time I had alcohol touch my lips, if I make it till May 17th, will be 8 years ago. Because I'm one of those guys that drank all the time without consequence for 35 years, pretty much. But I was I had one speed, so I would drink hard. And then I had what's the word I'm looking for? A hankering for other things. So alcohol would just lead to me being an absolute nutcase. Anyway, those days hopefully are behind me, but I never blame it on the alcohol, because alcohol for me, if I could have ever stopped at 3 drinks and then let an hour go by where I just chat or drank water and then ordered another drink, alcohol is just a wonderful substance. But I'm just a reckless. And I hope I don't offend anybody in the chat here, because I go and participate in AA and love and think it's a life-saving program, but I also have a problem thinking that it's a disease. I think it's like a bad choice that I made over and over and over. And then, so I kind of put it on me, but I never blame the substance. I blame just the fact that some people are allergic to it in a way. And that's even not true. It's just that some people are.
I'm the exact same way, Jay. If I were to go out drinking on my birthday and my wife weren't there, it'd be like The Hangover. You'd find me in Vegas 3 weeks later walking a panther down the sidewalk in my freaking F robe, not knowing where the hell I am. It's craziness.
I've woken up in Key West.
Well, I mean, I could think of worse places to wake up.
In a nice hotel. had no plan on being there and stayed the whole weekend because when we woke up and realized we were there, we were like, hey, this is a great time to enjoy Key West.
Yeah.
That left a mark because I flew. I was able to board a plane, and I have no conscious memory of it.
Wow.
So what would happen to me, the reason I was so lucky because I didn't have consequences, is I would get to a point to where the candle would be blown out, blackout, and instead of me being like, blah, 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 I would be like, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Great. Yeah, let's go to Key West. Sounds like an awesome idea. Hold on, let me transfer some money. Okay, let me get on my phone and get a ticket. Okay, I've got a boarding pass. Y'all ready? Boom. I mean, that's like the worst combination of being a drunk is that you can still function and do stupid shit because you don't make good decisions. I mean, nobody decides at 1 a.m. that going to Key West is a good idea, but it happens. And that was years and years and years ago. But still, that's just one of the more extravagant things and one of the least costly without consequences.
I mean, you had the money to do it. So, I mean, so you were doing something right.
Well, I was degrading a marriage at the time, right? I guess I can take responsibility for that, even though I fall back on the fact, had I not been in that position, I would not have the beautiful daughter that I have because I would have never, in a sober, conscious state, married my love of my life, who was not the love of my life, but who was the mom of my daughter. Because that just would have never happened. But everything happens for a reason. No regrets, no worries. What is up, Sharif? Sharif is the guy that we are going to be blowing up. If you're not already subscribed to Sharif, I want to make him a moderator so he can put his link in there. And we're going to go find a video to subscribe to so that when I do a giveaway later tonight, it's going to be through Sharif's page. What's up, Pocket Metal? I'm looking at another tab, and I told everybody before you came on that I fell asleep sitting up on the couch. Yeah, I fell asleep on the couch sitting up, so I'm kind of in that groggy stage where I'm not all together with my faculty. So y'all talk amongst yourself while I pull up Mangana Steel.
Sharif, real quick, man, check your DMs on Instagram. I finally sent you that napkin drawing I was telling you about the hidden lanyard post. The extremely over-engineered way to hide a lanyard post. I fell asleep sitting up. Nice.
Forgot to plug my speakers back in.
You can't hear. You sound good though.
No, I can hear you now.
Awesome.
Yeah, I said I forgot to. I often forget to plug the speaker back into this computer instead of the other one.
Hey, I get it. I'm trying to multitask and find Sharif to give him mod status so he can go ahead and drop his link in there so I can open it. He is now a moderator, Sharif M. And I'm probably pronouncing that wrong because, again, I just woke up and I'm very punchy. I
thought you started a little bit later today.
Well, we were talking backstage. I was about 3 minutes late, and I apologize, guys. I try to be very punctual. Scotty Sobex.
For some reason, I thought it was like after 3 or after 6 o'clock our time that it usually went on, but I guess I'm crazy.
5:45 your time because it's 7:45. It used to be. I'm slowly creeping into the 7 o'clock hour.
Gotcha.
Coppola and Steve, thank you, buddy. New member, I appreciate you, dude. More than you know. But no, I was originally at 8:15, so you were right, Pocket Metal. It was usually 6:15 your time. But about 3 weeks ago, I moved to 7:45, and in about 2 weeks, I'm going to move up to 7:15, and that way we still got a window. I just want to make sure what I did. The reason I went to 7:45 is I want to make sure I've got 3 hours. Only if people want to be here 3 hours so that people can join, people can come on at different times. We can look at cool stuff that whether it be Jason at Brass Brigade is going to show or other people are going to be able to come on and show or other people in the community are going to be able to join. I just want to have that time. So when I was starting at 8:15, it was kind of a weird time because I don't want to get in and cringe on Maddie and Stevie said faction because that's where I go Friday nights at 11:10 my time, which would be 9:10 Pocket Metal's time, and it would be 12:10 bonds time. So as I try to do calculations, you can tell that's not good. Do not feel weird, Sharif. We need your link up there because that's where I need to go first. So I've got to open back up. What's weird is I'll click stuff in StreamYard, which I know this is just garbled to you guys if you don't care, and it doesn't open links, but I'll sit there and I'll click it incessantly like a child, wondering why it won't open something.
Yeah, you have to have your YouTube thing or else it's not
I
going to
do. I just forget that it's there and I click on the wrong thing and I'll keep going, why is it not doing it? I'm like, John, you
Don't feel
idiot.
bad. I try to highlight people's comments in your stream and I can't do that either.
I do the exact same thing when I'm in other people's streams.
I don't want to share that. I want to share this. And I didn't make it down to the Sunoco to grab one of my Starbucks energy drinks. Damn it.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, you're
All right,
right.
so what we've got to do, can y'all see the screen with Sharif's page that we all need to go subscribe to? If you're not already, please go subscribe to The Real Sharif M. And Sharif, tell me if I'm saying that right, or if it's Sharif or Sheriff.
It's
To me,
Sharif.
Sharif. Is that how you pronounce it?
It's Sharif.
Sharif. Okay, I'm going to go with Sharif. So we're going to go to Sharif's page, and what I've got to do is I'd say we go to the most recent video. Let's see which one's got views. All right, let's go to the most recent video. And y'all, just so I warn you now that I do this on the fly. So I actually don't know how to do this, but what I think we do, Pocket Metal, correct me if I'm wrong, when we decide on what comment to say in here with a word, they would go look at the video, leave a comment if they haven't already, or leave another comment with that word in it, right?
That's not, you don't need to do that on someone's YouTube page.
But if I'm trying to drive traffic to their YouTube page, like
I have no idea how to do that. I always just use the StreamYard comment.
Yeah, I'm going to do that for Jason's giveaway, the one that he's giving away as part of the live tonight. But when I do my giveaway, I want to get everybody in the chat to go to Sharif's, not only subscribe, but watch this video and leave a comment. So then we can pull from the people in the comments. I'll Google in the background. Y'all can continue on. I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah, I've never tried to do the other thing. I'm not about driving people to other channels. What the hell do I need to do that for? No, I'm just joking.
Did you see my video? And you can say no. I'm sure you didn't, but it was no, you wouldn't have seen it. Never mind. It's not a big deal. But I mention you, and it's all in affinity and love, because I say at the end, I was like, and please move forward with love in your heart, unless your brother Pocket Metal hates. Okay, you get a pass, because I know it's a good outlet for you. But it was supposed to be in fun, and I know some people don't have senses of humor, so fuck them. But that's what I meant. So what did everybody carry today? I will get started with.
Oh, you're gonna make me dig my carry back out, aren't you?
No, you can just describe it, but I know you've got your pile of knives there, so I don't want you to cut yourself.
Oh no! I've got everything right here. I can get it all. I got most of it in my pocket.
So that is my Eclipse that's flipperless that I got from, was it Knife Joy that had those about 4 months ago? And then I've got the tightest retention on this little chickadee that Kyle Coonley, before Lefty suckered me into it, put this edge on it that's you can't see because and that's a tiny little knife, guys, that's Magna Cut. And I sharpened my S90V one on my TS Prof, and it is some work. And I did not get an edge that's anywhere near this. So Clinging Works, which I'm mispronouncing horribly probably, Kyle Coonley, is a great sharpener. I've got proof on a little bitty knife. Crispy Critter. Dean Griffin, welcome, guys.
I forget, how much are those little bitty chickadee things? How much are you guys throwing at those things? I forget how much they are.
It depends if you get them retail. So I'm gonna the first one I got. All right. Well, let me tell you, the first one I got came from a community member, formerly known, and I didn't mean to say formerly. I meant to say affectionately, but that's how squirrel brain works. Affectionately known as Honey Bear, knew that I was looking for one and reached out to me and gave me what I would consider a bro deal that included an Oak City leather sheath that anyone would have gobbled up. So thank you, Honey Bear. And if you buy one from Jacob Creates on a drop, I want to say they are $275. And if you buy them on the secondary from someone like Lefty, you'll get nice expensive shit that you don't need, like this Combat Beads driver that's like the 8th driver that I've got that I don't need, thrown in, and a couple of other feel-good items like a Oak City leather sheath, and you'll still, be around the same tune. That's why when I go out on a rant, I am just amazed by these little guys. A to Z EDC, my local buddy who Tad knows, had one come in about the same time Bod ordered his. I think they ordered it at the same live, and he's going to stop by because his power's out on his way to his girlfriend's, and he's going to drop off his for me to show because I haven't seen it, and I wanted to go by today and get it because he got a bigger one. And I'm just curious how the handle works on his, because the handle to me is what really makes it the functional side of awesome. And then, of course, the just artistic interpretation to each one, and the spine treatment that his got with I want to say Jason uses a Dremel or a hand file to do that. But these are such, to me, a good value when you look at this. And I know that making small knives are probably more time consuming than making large knives. So I know that that's worth every bit of what I chose to pay for it from Lefty, because I would never buy one.
Blade Ogre said they go from 2 to 225.
Okay, then it was I bought it. It was $225 or $275. Within $50, guys. My brain, if I can stay within $100 of memory, I've done good. And I've got the finger over what I think is the coolest part, which is that little pin.
The reason I was asking is because Bark River, they had I should say DLT dropped some Bark Rivers in Magna Cut today, and they were like, I think you could get them starting at around like $250, but it's like a full size knife.
Full size knife, right? So you're getting more Magna Cut, but I think Dark Gravity can speak to the fact that the material's not where the cost hugely comes into making that knife that much more. Isn't that right, Dark Gravity? Or is it a factor of things
there's a huge amount of difference.
Tooling.
Like that's like 4 chickadees in steel and other, and then plus Bark River, American.
But you're having to formulate. The chickadees are American made, and they've got to be hand formed, all 4 of those. So you've got time. That one piece of steel, Magna Cut, that's yielding 4 chickadees and 1 big knife. You've still got the labor to make the 4 chickadees.
Yeah, I'm in my brain. You're totally not going to beat.
I agree. I agree.
Bark River is a fucking hell of a company.
It just depends on how it's made. I mean, as far as the cost, it depends on how it's made. A hand ground tiny knife is much more expensive than a hand ground big knife, because a hand ground tiny knife is a lot. You ask a knife maker, there's a competition that they used to do at Blade Show. I don't know if they still do, of tiny knives. And those tiny knives were thousands of dollars, because making those tiny knives was a lot more difficult than making a really big knife.
I understand that, but the chickadee's not a tiny. It's not like the hummingbird size knife here. It's just a small knife.
If it's a hand ground chickadee versus a machine ground river, there's a lot of difference in the manufacturing difficulties. Then there's also the price of scale. Bark River's making thousands of knives, or where the guy making chickadees is making them in his garage. You always pay a premium for somebody to make something in their garage, in a small company or a small one-man shop, than you do to pay somebody, and apparently, the demand for it has increased the price of it, because on the secondary, they cost more than they do from, table price. I mean, there's all those factors that go into it as to whether the knife, you could argue. I mean, to you, it may not be. To me, it's not. I won't never own a chickadee. I would more likely own the Bark River, but that's because me and you, that's more mine and your style, where the chickadee is more John's style. And
right. I own too.
because I'm a SE6, you know, SE5, you know, that size knife. I want a 5 or 6 inch blade typically.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to
If
chop
you
arms.
watch, I think that people should, you know, if they're interested in that kind of shit, they do a factory tour and show you how also that they, you know, put all those things together. It's not a huge company once again. Bark
Yeah.
River isn't. Yeah, it's more than one person, clearly.
They're like a Hinderer size, right? Or kind of in that same round, like White River, maybe? Or
How
is White River
many? I
bigger?
don't know how many people are there. It's a smaller company. I
Yeah.
mean, for a while they were putting their leather sheaths together in their fucking lunchroom, in their, you know, break room, um, because that's, you know, it's like a family owned thing. It's like a dad, a son, and then a few people that they brought over when they left Marbles. And I'm sure that there's people that have been come and gone since then.
Bark River's a great company, you know, and they make
Yeah.
great knives. As far as fixed blade outdoors knives, it'd be really difficult to beat, you know, a Bark River. There's a reason people kind of covet them, and they also do, you know, small production runs. They're more of they don't do a lot of the same knife for an extended period of time.
No,
It seems like,
and you can custom order them and shit. So,
Sharif, throw your link up there again, please.
but yeah,
sorry, guys.
I was just curious, just because I saw that, and I was just curious, like what the difference was between the two, you know, as far as that was concerned. But yeah, I mean, it's all hand finished stuff.
Are you guys familiar with White River knives? Because I own one of them, and
Yeah,
I bought. Are they similar size to Bark River, or are they bigger, larger? Does anybody know?
I have no idea as far as the companies are concerned. I haven't
The
looked into
costs
that.
are similar. The costs are very similar.
They're used to, and I don't remember if I'm trying to dig in my brain, but there was a joint venture between two knife it started out as one knife company, and I believe Bark River split off because the two people had issues and they come from Marbles years ago, and they started a higher end, better quality knife company because Marbles started sending all their shit to China.
Right.
And I want to say that originally was White River, and then when they broke up, it becomes something else in Bark River.
Yeah,
When two
I don't.
original partners split, but I don't remember all the details to it, but it's something that happened a long time ago, like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember. I knew there was another company in between there somewhere, and then they changed their name again or some such shit, but I can't remember. But I was just, once again, just curious, price wise. It's just level of finish to me. Also, like those chickadees ones that I've seen, it just looks like little slab scales on it. They're not like contoured. You know, you don't have a lot of different material options and liners and shit. Maybe that doesn't matter to some people. Maybe some people prefer that. Just curious. You know what I mean? Once again,
There are no liners,
finishing
but
those?
they do offer scales, and they do offer contoured ones. This is micarta, and it's contoured, but it doesn't have any liner, so they saved on that. And then the one I've got in G10 is also a little bit contoured, and it's got.
I guess what I'm missing on there, or what I'm was trying to say. So theirs are not just like contoured as in radius. They actually have like a shape.
Like yeah, I know what you're saying. Like a 3D contouring, like the Guardian 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are the chickadees, are the scales on those, are those hand finished, or are those just cranked out on a CNC and then hand sanded?
According to the website, they are hand finished, I believe. And I will pull it up to verify that because I don't want to give you false information. But I think Jacob, because when he released these, there were like 2 sets left, and I think he released 10 sets of scales. So I think if you were going to CNC them and you're selling every knife you drop, that you'd make more and keep them in stock, I would think. But maybe not. I'm not 100% sure. But they're not there's not enough room to really do any 3D contouring. Right. But what I did do, and I know Shane's out tonight, so he's not going to see this, but he traded this little Guardian 3 for a bigger knife that I had, a lion steel. And I ordered the contoured scales. And I don't know if y'all saw my rant video. They were the hardest scale swap I've ever done. And I broke probably 17 spanner bits, but that's a whole other story.
Suck, man.
Yeah, but this is what you mean, right? Pocket metal, where they've got swells in different places depending on the size of the handle.
Right.
And y'all talk for a second, because I want to grab my White River, because it's an American made, really nice. I got the small game, but in small EDC fixies, it's a super nice knife. So hold on one second, and y'all talk.
Pocket metal something. Pocket metal. Did you? I don't know if you saw my picture on Instagram where I got out my dad's case stag handle trapper from the 80s.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it.
I did not know that, and I don't know if they still do it because I don't keep up with case anymore because their quality's just not there, in my opinion, anymore. Both blades on this knife are hollow ground.
I don't think that they do most of their stuff hollow ground anymore.
But this is from, I can't remember if it's 88 or 86. And it literally, both the clip point and the spade blade are both hollow ground. You're not gonna be able to see it because I'm outside, but it blew my mind to realize that both of them are hollow ground.
Yeah. And I've mentioned that before on some like other budget knives that I, traditional style, like this class knife is got hollow ground blades on it. And a couple other ones I have that are
forest. That's all three of them. And that one. That's my smallest box cutter.
But these used to be able to be, you can't really get these too much anymore. And I don't know why. This was originally a German company. And then for some reason they started doing a lot of production in China. But it's definitely a shit ton better, put together than a Rough Rider for, around $30-ish.
Is that a Boker? I missed that part of it.
No. It's Robert Class. Also, you can find some of their stuff. He had another name, Kissing Crane. They did.
Yeah.
I
remember Kissing Crane. I didn't recognize Robert Class.
Yeah, that's the guy's name behind it, and you can still find online some of his stuff that's German made. It's got 2 A's, by the way. KLAAS. But yeah.
So this is a White River, and if I could show you guys the detail on this micarta and the swells in the handle, it doesn't have any liners, but this is their small game. It's one of their smaller knives.
So,
it's impeccable.
This is just, once again, maybe to some people splitting hairs. The way Bark River does their stuff is it's not bolted together, and you see how you can feel the spine raise above the micarta. You'll never see that shit on their knives. Yeah,
there's a tiny bit of displacement, if y'all can see that.
All their stuff is fitted together and then polished perfectly off, so it's not, there's no difference in that.
That's good to know, because I wasn't aware. When I saw this, the reason I got this knife is it was available. And it came in a real nice box. It was pretty expensive. I think it was around the same price as the Bark River, because I was looking at a similar pocket model. You might know the model name. But they have a small game.
There's quite a few different. I mean, there's so many. Like the one that they put out looks, that they dropped today at DLT looked the same as some of their other shit. But
that's a big knife for me. The small game is for me to carry on a daily, and I've got it in a little Kydex sheath. But it pushes. It doesn't get carried much unless I'm going out in the woods. I carry it like that. I bought that sheath from White River too. They come in a leather sheath. But it's just
I understand it's intentional, but as far as how much time is put into the finished product, slapping scales on versus it all having to be contoured and radius together.
That's 100% true because
and it's
one thing.
What do you prefer?
One thing Brass Brigade was saying is it's much more time consuming to put in these pins, leave them out, and then cut them off and sand them smooth, as opposed to just doing a screw on. I'm sorry, Pocket Metal. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's just what people prefer. So, me personally, with those types of knives, I don't plan on taking the damn thing apart.
Well, Bod made a good point on why you would want to take them apart. And when I did the scale swap, I'd noticed on my Rex 45 Guardian 3 that it looked like right around the screw holes, they were starting to get a little discoloration, because it's full tang. And I don't know if that was rust starting. So I went ahead and I fritzed it, and then I put some of my Wicked Wax on it and buffed it off before I put the new scales on it. So, Bod, didn't you say you get moisture behind yours when you take it riding? Mm-hmm. And that's how you first took your scales off to get it dried off?
Yeah, because that micarta, even though micarta is, it's basically epoxy resin with the whatever burlap or linen or what have you dropped into it, there's still going to be like seepage. That's why when you dye them, you boil it, you get it hot and it kind of softens up that resin and it allows the water and the dye to get into those fibers. So when you're out in the rain and that water soaks into it, I take the scales off to get them off of that tang. Otherwise, that micarta is going to stay wet and it's going to hold moisture against it for a good while.
See, I would have never even thought of that, but it does make perfect sense. I guess maybe the liners help. And I'm guessing because I don't know anything about construction, but Pocket Metal with liners help give another barrier between the outside and the scale, right?
I think when it's completely, riveted shut, with pins and shit, it's glued together. It's epoxied. The metal's epoxied in there also. It's not just the pins. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that you have to, but this is, something that's done in that construction. This is a one-off. This is just 1095. I did patina it because if you don't, then, you're going to have some, weathering issues like rust or whatever. But I've never had, I took this shit out in the snow and stuff and used it. And we live in fucking Washington. So it's, constantly moist here almost, except for 2 months in the summer. And I haven't had any issues with that. And I've had this knife for probably close to 10 years now.
That's a really good point, because when Jason sent me pictures of him putting knives together, he does do a full layer before he puts, because he hand fits the scales, because he does do them by hand. But then when he puts the full layer on each side of the tang or each side of the scale before he pins it, and the pins stick out about, I felt like it was a waste how far they stick out. He told me why, but he leaves this barrel and the pin sticking out, and he keeps it all clamped together, right, for however long you do. And then he'll take the pins off and sand it all and finish it. But that would make sense that he would be less likely to have the handle exposed.
If there's gaps or shit in the epoxy or, stuff like that, then you're going to have stuff come in there. And if the micarta is, depending upon, now I've never had a matte finished micarta. Bark River does offer that to see if that's going to cause any problems. But I'm guessing they've been doing it for a while and they wouldn't be making shit like that knowing that it's going to fuck up. I don't know.
Hey, real quick, this is Cole. This is the new District 9, Cole.
I'm going to make you big, Doom. I don't want to freak you out.
All right. Cole, this is the new District 9, man. It's only like 7.5 inches. It's totally good for your little Muppet hands. I think you'll really like it.
I can attest to Cole's little Muppet hands. I've seen them in person. How are you doing, Cole? Ian Coates, how are you, brother? Gary, Last Ranger, Oliver Twist. Sorry I haven't been participating in the chat, guys. It's kind of been fascinating listening to these, learning about Bark River knives that I've been really interested in. But I haven't been
by no means an expert on it. It also matters what kind of blade steel you choose when you get something from them.
Well, no, and I wasn't saying that. I was just saying it's something to learn
and shit like that. You know what I mean? So, but once again, like I was saying, this isn't from them. This is not a Bark River, but it's 1095. I haven't had, problems with anything seeming like it was going bad.
Well, if we think about the old days, what?
That's something you may want to consider with that Rex 45 is forcing a patina on it.
But even with the black blade, the nimble finish. See, it's got that nimble finish.
I'm more thinking about on the inside where you're not going to be able to clean it. If you just took the handle, because the handle's Rex 45, take the scales back off and stick the handle in, vinegar or mustard or some shit like that to, force a patina on it.
So tell me what the benefit of a forced patina, does that not then turn into rust?
No,
it does not.
Normally. I mean,
okay, so I'm confused.
Like Hospital said, he's got patina on his, and it's 10 years old.
Patina is a small level of rust, so to speak, but you controlled the way it happened, and in doing so, it makes a protective layer over the steel. Now, occasionally, depending upon how hard you're using and how often you're using that knife, you may have to do it again, but you'll see it. Like here's once again. 1095 GEC, and you can see the coloration on there. It's no longer shiny silver looking.
I'm going to make you big real quick.
Oh, yeah, you don't. But, it's no longer shiny looking, and that's just a natural patina. This isn't like something that I made pretty on there. But because I did it, now you don't got to worry about it, turning to shit.
But since it was a natural patina, did you have to redo anything to patinize it, or did it just stay?
I use it to cut apples and bananas. And that's
Thank you, Trust Jay. I appreciate you, buddy. You absolutely didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I just use this to cut fruit and vegetables with, and it'll put a patina on it, so you don't have to, do it.
I think that might be a good idea, Dr. Gravity. I think I might do that.
Each steel's going to take something different. Patina Turner does the what is it called? The vinegar patina. So you can heat up vinegar on your stovetop and then drop your knife blade down in there, and it'll give a nice solid dark gray color of the whole thing. What's that?
Or like your handle, if you had the nimble finish like I do, and you wanted to like Dark Gravity.
Is it not finished it underneath under there as well?
They're the same, yeah. There is the nimble finish full thing. So what Dark Gravity was suggesting, if I didn't want to patina the blade, is I could just take the scales off and patina the handle, force patina it. Right?
I don't think you'll see the patina through the coating on the blade.
I don't know if you will either.
So would you submerge the whole knife in the hot vinegar?
You could. I mean, I don't think it's either gonna work or not work. That finish that's on there may be enough of a coating on there until it starts wearing off for it to not be a problem.
Right. But if it was a natural blade,
correct,
you would definitely from a process, would you hold the handle and dip the blade and then wait a certain amount of minutes and then flip it? Or is there a process or formula?
The whole thing. If you got either like a little pan that you can drop it down in there and then use a piece of bent metal through one of the holes,
coat hanger,
and then pull it up or something, or you definitely don't want to use anything that you plan on eating with again.
Yeah.
So maybe watch a YouTube video before you do it. Yeah. Howdy, Michael Morgan.
There's all kinds of people that do that shit. That being said, kids, I'm going to go.
Are you going to leave?
Yeah, I got dinner's being made. It's ready to
go. Rub Lulu and Dottie for me. Tell Shimiette we said hey, and come back in if you get a chance.
Will do.
We'll be here for a while.
Good night.
Love you, dude. Appreciate your info.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Honey, take care, brother.
Hey, John, if you want to, you can bring that knife over to the house and we can patina it here.
That sounds like a plan. I'd like to just try. I think that'd be a good one for me to learn how that works on. I think that's all good.
Well, see, the thing is, I've got 2 Spydercos because I patinaed my Maximet before. I've patinaed my K390, and I still want to patina my new Maximet, and I want to patina my Cruwear.
So, don't put my address on. Don't trim my address on.
I won't.
You just did.
But I won't do it again. I didn't mean to do it. Sorry, guys. I was just getting a drop off that I'm going to open here in a second on screen. I thought I had an intruder, but the reason you didn't hear my 38 or my 380 go off is because I knew he was coming. A to Z EDC stopped by, and he's going to let me unbox his, and he just brought this by to tease me with.
He got his Iron Wolf.
I think he got this from NAF sale.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God. Have y'all ever handled one of these? Bob, this is kind of, well, I guess it'd be a small knife for you. Oh, that's the same size as yours, pocket, Dark Gravity?
Yep. Yeah,
Did
the
Dark Gravity
Iron
inspire you? Is that where you handled it first?
Dark gravity inspires me in every way.
You inspire him in every way. I guess you heard that through the mic.
Yeah, I heard it.
I'm wearing my jeans cuff now. Even.
Did she have power?
Yeah.
Don't hate, Jeff. You'll get hooked just like I am. I guess John cut his sound off.
He's muted.
A to Z's probably getting on to him.
He can't. I've got headphones on, so he can't hear anything. But I'm going to take off camera this. I'm going to open this box because I'm going to hand this back to him after I show it to you guys.
You need a real knife, definitely.
Huh?
You need a real knife to open it.
No, this is a real knife, dude. Did you hear that fine comment? I'm sitting here surgically opening this box because I care about him and his shit, and I'm using my scalpel so that when I open this box, it'll look like he could put it back together using my J-Cal. And he's like, "Do you need a real knife?" You know what? I'm kind of pissed, and I've sent several messages to my friends Kunwu, and they haven't replied yet. Motherfuckers. Kunwu, a couple of weeks ago or last week, in a moment of weakness, I bought a pulsar from Kunwu, from the website. They didn't have any of the smooth orange peel finishes like the ones I wanted in. So I ordered one of the few that are left were the ridged titanium, right? The ones that they've been showing that you've seen everywhere.
Yeah.
So what I did is did you order two? Oh. Okay, it's a big one. Check this out, guys. So I just unwrapped that package.
Oh, nice.
So you got, let me undo the ulti clip.
I'm
going to make me big.
I showed Jason the proof art that patch company sent me.
What do you think? Is he a graphic designer too?
Hey, honey bear.
And then you get the one I've got on my tactical shooting bag, the gripper, the G. Mine's a different color, but this is a green one. And then he's only been making these Kydex sheaths for, I want to say, 2-3 weeks. He bought himself his Kydex machine so he could learn how to do it. Got it. Says JCal XL number 2, 2023. How cool is that, guys? Nice. When you talk about a personal knife, the retention is great on it. Look at that badass. Look at that spine treatment. And Jeff's is a hollow grind, not a chisel grind.
All by hand.
Think about that. That's hand done, guys. OMG. It is sharp. What do y'all think? Is that pretty cool?
Jason's an artist, man.
That's what I told him. I said it's functional art. And when I look at, he sends pictures to me all the time, different knives. And that is, let me get my J-Cal out. So keep in mind, not only will no two be the same, Jeff got kind of the same, or A to Z got the same type of blade treatment or the same blade shape. But if you wanted one of these J-Cals, an XL or a regular or a small or a custom size, but you wanted a sheep's foot or a Warncliffe or just some weird envision design, you could do that.
I think that one's a little closer to the size that I'm getting.
I think it is kind of close to yours, Bearded M. I think you're getting number 1, if I'm not mistaken.
He said this was the Doom edition.
Yeah, this is Doom edition is what he told A to Z. So
Nice.
You're getting number 1. Yep. So that, I mean, when I look at that double hollow grind, even though I love the chisel grind, it's my first chisel grind knife. And A to Z made a good point, and Jason and I talked about it, and he said, perfect. If somebody wanted that chisel on the opposite side, that he would do it. Because I'd asked him, I noticed that on my little Joey Ramone knife, which I don't know if I've got out here, I do, that the chisel is on an opposite side. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know if maybe one cut better than the other. And Jason assured me that they both, if you're right-handed, it's not like scissors. They'll both cut the same. But like A to Z said, when you look at the way my J-Cal set up, the chisel's on the opposite side. So
it's
he
just
thought
a matter of which way you cut things. Like I don't know what it is about the way I developed writing. You know how most people that are lefties write kind of hook-handed?
Yeah.
I write hook-handed, but with my right hand. So when I'm cutting things with my right hand, I'm naturally inclined to go across towards my left hand as opposed to out away. Most people that are right-handed will naturally go more away from themselves, which is why a lot of the chisel grind knives that you find will be ground on that particular side, so that the flat side is facing down.
That's exactly right.
Whereas for me, with the chisel being on the opposite side, it will actually work out perfectly because that's the way my brain naturally wants to go with the way I hold things and the way my hand moves.
Yeah, that's what Jason told me, and that's what A to Z's question was. He was like, when I cut, it's usually like this, so I'd like to be able to make sure I can see that plane. And Jason said, that's a great point. And because as he makes these knives, I mean, to me, it's just amazing what he's doing. I'm gonna pull up his Instagram real quick. First, I'm going to pop this up because at some point I'm gonna have to manage time and know that I'm gonna get you guys to go subscribe to Sharif. And let me go ahead and think of a word to put in there so that we can get y'all to start registering. Appreciate you sharing that, dude. Hey, you want the box and everything, or do you want me to throw it away? Here's this and that, and try to keep Tippy in if you try to get out. Is Grateful back in his room?
I think so.
All right, I'm gonna send him a link. Later, buddy. I appreciate you.
I'll be good.
You too, man. Sorry, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw Sharif's link in there, and then I'm going to think of, I've still got to make my brain, it's woken up now, but now I'm kind of overwhelmed with different stimulus, so I'm not even more effective, but I'm going to think that we're going to go to this video. Let me find it again. I'm going to put the link of the video in the chat. And I'm going to do a lot of this on the honor system, but I am going to Google when these guys start having a conversation, or when Jason comes on, how to really do this, to pull it out of the comments, because I do want Mr. Sharif to know that you guys have come to his page, that you subscribe to his page, and that you're watching his videos. If you're not already, and if you are already subscribed, we're going to leave a comment on this video right here, which is his most recent video on his page. And we are going to leave the comment, hashtag, you can say anything you want, but somewhere in it, put hashtag JuhVon, JuhVon. Somewhere in the video, if you'll just put that, I will either pull that or I will go look at the comments. I'm going to share this with you. And then I will also come up with a cool knife to give away. And keep in mind that Jason is going to be giving away a J-Cal later in the show. But I want everyone to go to Sharif's. Whoops, that's the wrong one. I've got too many windows open. That's why if I have time to type without shaking my screen, because I'm trying not to shake my screen, but I know it's shaking my camera. This is the video we're going to go to. And it's the, let's go back. It is the best ergos in the game, which is his most recent upload that was uploaded yesterday. This one right here. Can y'all see that?
Yep.
It's got 268 views now. So what I'm hoping that we can do, and the way I'm going to do the giveaway, is give you guys a couple of hours. I'll leave that link on the screen, or give an hour or so to go subscribe to his channel if you're not. If you already are, he appreciates it. I appreciate it. But if you're not, give him a sub, hit the little bell notification, and then watch the video, or a little of it, so YouTube knows you were there, and just leave that comment. It'd be nice if you liked the video, but leave the comment, hashtag JuhVon, anything else you want to say, or just hashtag JuhVon, and we'll pull those comments and give away a knife here in a little while. And I'm thinking about a knife that I did a budget review on that I thought was one of the most under-reviewed and under-talked about Savivis. When I first got into the game, I picked up, and it stayed in my collection the whole time. It's the Savivi Little Fiend. Are y'all familiar with that? Anybody in the chat? It's a hollow ground, small. It's about Elementum size, but it's got a flipper deployment, and it's got a regular flipper, so it's got a deployment hole. I'll go grab it in a second, but I think I'm going to give that away because I've kept it in my collection because I like it. Hashtag, I'm going to put it, since y'all know where to go, I'm going to put it in the chat here. All you got to put in is hashtag JuhVon. That's what you guys will put in a comment over there. And you don't have to use caps. You can do it all lowercase. I'll put it in all lowercase. And then we'll, and by the way, Tri-State EDC, who I appreciate everything. And I appreciate you, Knife Inquisitor, for, I don't know how to make that, how I put that on screen. Thank you, Knife Inquisitor, for donating $14.99, brother. That's unexpected and unnecessary, but I definitely appreciate it. But what I was going to say, guys, is thanks, Kyle. So you can put it in caps, you can put it in lowercase, but Tri-State EDC, early on, I'm Jay Evans Knife Addict Live, and I was on his live, one of his early lives, and he would refer to me as JuhVon. So instead of correcting him, I just kind of adopted it. And I said, no, you can call me JuhVon. And I've taken on that persona. It's kind of my danger pickle moment. For those of you who don't know, Bearded Gear was doing reviews on the Spyderco bombshell, which I've got a Boker bombshell made by Burnt Blades that's kind of a ripoff that I had modded to look like a bombshell. But it had green scales. It's a cool knife. Google it. It's the Spyderco bombshell, and Bearded Gear said it looked like a danger pickle, and that name kind of took. Even that Spyderco used it a couple of times. So when Tri-State called me JuhVon, I figured if I was going to start a channel, because at the time I was just throwing up shorts, that I would call it JuhVon Knife Addict Life, which was just my screen name, but it was pronouncing it because I'm John Evans. I'm not anonymous. But anyway, I thought it was funny and I went with it. But that's the spelling right there. Kyle Coonley is so eloquently put up on the screen. It's not cap sensitive. And I know that I just appreciate y'all going and checking out Sharif's stuff and giving him a sub. And we'll go check him, seeing how he's doing, how many subscribers he's got in a little while. Let me make that small. I'm just learning how to do this. You guys still with me on the screen?
I'm here.
All right,
Yeah.
sweet. Oh, Tri-State, I didn't spell it right. I'm going to have to redo all my stickers. And by the way, guys, I do have stickers. I'll be giving those guys away in all my throwaways, giveaways. One of them's got the little cat before I did the bizarre AI generated selfie deal, which is a cool app if you guys haven't seen that. That's how I got my channel logo. I use Canva and Bizarre. You guys start talking about something so I can send Grateful Panic this link and try to get him to join us. What'd you carry today, Tad? Because then I'll be able to read them in a second.
I carried my dad's, like I was talking to Pocket Metal about earlier, my dad's stag handle case trapper.
Oh wow!
I can't remember if it's from '88 or '86. And I can't see the damn stamp in the dark out here. I believe it's '88. But carried it today, and then I carried I got a Strider S&G.
I love that knife. Is Cole going to keep his? I noticed it was in his drawer the other day, Sunday morning. I was checking it out, and I was glad to see that it was still in his collection. He got the bigger one, right? Dark Gravity?
AR-75, I think is the one that Cole has.
Yeah, because I knew he said at one point that he thought it was too big for him, that he might have to pass it on, but then it happened to be in his nice knife drawer, and I wondered if that was something that he was going to keep in the collection, because I love big knives. I really do. I don't carry them a lot, but I do carry. And a big knife for me and a big knife for Bod are two different things. So if I reach in my pocket, this is on the bigger side of what I carry, and my Medford Marauder is kind of about a little bit bigger, a little bit more obnoxious. But this is a big knife for me.
Is that the one you have that has the warthog etched into it? No.
No, this isn't the one that has a warthog etched into it. I don't have one of those in a hinderer. I've got a Mettenboss Benchmade.
No, I think I'm thinking of a Medford that you have that has the warthog. Is it a Medford?
I've got a teardrop pattern, and you're thinking about the infraction that's got the it's called the Stars and Stripes. I hope I'm making terrible noises, probably, guys. I apologize as I lean against this shit. I think Bud's talking about that.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's called Hinderer Stars and Stripes. So when you look at Hinderer knives, you can find a finish that you like. This is just a basic stonewash finish. And then it's got the titanium anode hardware, which drives the price up. And then when you get a pattern on it, it drives the price up. But it's nice. And I just hit my finger with that. That's my favorite hinderer right there. But I love the way it fits in my hand.
Hole in that thing.
It does. But it fits my hand. It's got a very usable choil for me. I love the grind on it. S35VN. I never flick it in the hole. I flick it in the fuller because it's got all that fuller too. But it's really meant to be slow rolled for people who do that.
Is Cole still in here? Or is Cole gone?
You can do it either way, buddy, or you can do it both ways, because I'm probably going to go by the honor system. I just want everybody to subscribe and leave him a comment. So I'm not going to discriminate. Go ahead, Bod. I'm sorry, or Dark Gravity, whoever was talking.
I was just asking if Cole was still here, because if he thinks that last knife that I sent him was big, this one here has like 2 inches, 2¼ inches on that one.
That's the biggest folder I've ever seen, and I've watched, I think, every single video you've done on it in amazement. Because I talk about.
I don't know if any of y'all follow Pink G10. He's a dude from I want to say Sweden. He's either Sweden or Switzerland. I'm not sure which one.
I think there might be 2 countries, Sweden and Switzerland.
Well, there's 2 countries.
See, I wouldn't know that. I would have to guess, and I wouldn't bet $10 if that was the case.
But no, Pink G10 is he has taste very much like mine, and he put out his video today on the Max Ace Titanus. And in his video, he's like, yes, I was the first one to get the video out. Yes. And that's how I felt when I got this thing. I got this thing in, and I had seen a couple other people get theirs in the exact same day and post pictures on Instagram. And I'm sitting in the editing room, and I'm like, I got to get the video out first.
That's the biggest knife I've ever seen, and so well done. I mean, Max Ace, I've got only the Black Mirror, which is a small, but it's a fabulous knife. It's was my number one value of 2022. Not that my opinion matters, but it's just great. And then I've got the lesser expensive liner lock Sandstorm, which Bod has the integral version, the nice one. But I mean, the action on that thing is to absolutely die for. And then my favorite button lock is the Babylon version 1. Mm-hmm. But the bigger ones take their construction to an entirely different level but they do everything so right. And these knives, at least in my experience, come apart well. Mine aren't like Dooms. This one's a little bit tricky just because it's the button lock, but nothing like ProTech or anything like that. It's just very well thought out.
I like the Babylon 1 better because it doesn't have that stupid lock switch that I had to go in and disable because
the reason they did that for lefties, I understand, because lefties were complaining. Lefties always ruin stuff. I don't mean that seriously if any of you are lefties and get offended. But evidently that was their logic for adding that. I don't think it was necessary because I've spine whacked this because evidently spine whacking has become a thing. And this one does well. And I've got one from one of my favorite designers that's not a spine whack survivor. It does not pass the test. And
did you watch when I took it apart, when I took apart the Babylon to disable that switch? The reason that it doesn't fail where a lot of the other ones do is that on a lot of the lesser button locks on the Tang, there's basically just this itty bitty little area that's ground over that button sits in to keep it closed or to keep it open. On the Babylon, on the blade, there's an entire cup with one little, like a little C, and the post for the button lock goes in between there, and then the button pops into that cup. So it's surrounded by about 90%, whereas the other ones just have a tiny little rounded area that it's sitting on.
That is, I did not see that yet, but I need to watch it. And I did not even pay attention to it when I took mine apart because was just taking it apart to clean it. And my brain just doesn't think engineering. I'm an English psychology guy and I can't fix shit. And I feel like I'm not even really a man when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah. That's why I have guys like Bod and Dark Gravity join me.
Like the Savivi Chevalier, for instance, the button lock, when it's locked up, the lock face is only coming in contact with maybe 30% of the button face, whereas on the Max Ace Babylon, the button lock is coming in contact with about 90%, and it's stuck inside of an actual cup versus just a little indent on the side of the blade. So it's real easy to see why some of them fail and some of them hold like a tank.
Right, just that engineering of that lock, which makes even more sense that if Max Ace has that lockup, and I'll have to take mine apart again to see if it's the same way, that they may have added that lock for people who are having left-handed issues of somehow depressing it accidentally when they were using it to cut. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, because I'm one of those. I'm always impressed when like Pocket Metal got hurt and he used to learn knives left-handed, learned to use knives left-handed. I was very impressed, as I am when Lefty uses knives right-handed. Because if I put a knife in my hand left-handed, even if it's just a flipper knife, and go to deploy it, I feel like it's about to fly out of my freaking hand. And that's just I can't reverse flick it. I mean, my left hand, and I'm a guitar player, so my left hand can do some stuff that some of the left hands don't do. But in terms of like throwing a ball or trying to make a straight line with a pen or opening a knife, I will cut my fingers off.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not very good with my left hand. There's only one thing I can do with my left hand, and I learned how to do that at the dawn of the internet.
Because you were looking for something different.
Well, I had to use my mouse with my right hand.
I always say that's how I would get strange from time to time. was either sit on my right hand till it went to sleep or use my left hand. So, Bud, what did you carry even though you had the Rona? You just had your pile that you drew from at Wisdom and Will?
Yeah, pretty much. I was home for most of the day, but when I went out riding, I brought the Max Ace Hephaestus.
Nice.
I brought the new District 9.
That's a sleek-looking little guy.
I had a little Olight i3T carbon. The Cool Hands Rocket carbon fiber pen. And the one Doom hanky out of the latest batch that I am keeping for myself, with the other 3 going into my little packs that I talked about on my live earlier.
I love it, man. You got some cool stuff going on, Doom.
If I can find it, it's all just in the pile again.
Hey, I love it because you've got the pile around you, and you've got the 4 and the 3-legged friends around you, and that's just that to me is just as good as prairie dogs any day. I love dogs.
Yeah, this little knucklehead back here, he's the one with the busted knee. I think we talked about that last time. It's the vet told us it's not worth fixing his leg this time.
Just keep him comfortable.
Yeah.
But he's probably just as happy laid low key by you with the other dogs around him in terms of his quality of life, I would think.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's a big knuckle. I mean, he's still a puppy, really. He's still a baby. He's just he got the short end of the stick for sure. He was rescued from a puppy mill, and he got every bad gene possible. But
well, he got rescued by the right fam, so that's a blessing in its own.
He's my big goober, so no. Well, yeah, definitely some complaints. He's an expensive SOB.
Oh God, but that just shows, you're willing to go the distance for him, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I think he surpassed in just one surgery, surpassed my dog that got bit by the rattlesnake. And that was a very expensive episode. The UPS dude came and warned us yesterday, I think it was, that there was like a 6-foot Eastern Diamondback just rocking down the middle of the road.
They breed like rabbits, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They must. I mean, they eat a lot of rabbits, which rattlesnakes for that purpose are good if they just didn't come into contact with dogs, and dogs are going to be and cats are going to be curious by them.
Yeah. So we don't let a little tripod cat is always trying to escape, but that one can't go outside because right in our backyard we got this great big pine tree, and there's a family of osprey that live in the pine tree. So
wow!
Yeah, that little bastard go out in the backyard, man. They'll scoop his ass up and just bring him up to the nest and pick him apart.
That's God, dude. That is, you got to be careful with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my neighbor across the street used to have chickens, and the osprey would go and scoop up his chickens and take them and eat them.
I'm gonna bring another guest on, guys. Y'all say hey to our friend Brother Scotch and Thing.
What's up, guys?
Welcome, man. We're just talking smack. We're talking about rattlesnake bites and vet bills.
Oh, hold on, shit. I just did something. There we go.
We just went through our carries. What are you carrying,
this is only
buddy?
the second time I've ever... Today I had actually I still got them on me. This camera is always SMF double gunner grip and Chavez 228.
I saw your video on that. That was awesome when your unboxing.
I just got this thing yesterday, and it's mint. And I don't know what. I need to ask him. He bought
I'm
a
gonna
brand
make
new
you big
from
if you don't
store.
mind.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, there's not a mark on this thing. I don't think he ever carried it. And which is kind of like these things. Can you see it? I'm trying.
Oh yeah. Let me move this. Let me remove the comment, and then I can see it. There you
go. I had one of these last year, and kind of turned me off of them. But it was just modded so heavily that it wasn't a really good representation of what this knife is. So I'm glad I got this one.
Your unboxing was great. I mean, you could tell you were stoked. So that's a handmade U.S. Chavez, right?
Yeah, it was his mid-tech line, and I need to ask him. I don't know when these came out. They're older, and then he went away from them. In the research I've done, what limited it is, like the 228, there was always his customs, and then he did a mid-tech, and that partnership dissolved who he was making them with. It was someone was cutting some parts for him, and then he was hand fitting them and doing grinds or something to whatever it is to make it a mid-tech. I don't know.
Right.
And then that kind of dissolved, and then that's when he switched to doing his customs, and then the partnership with Riot. So
if y'all aren't subbed to Scotch and Things, he has the coolest collection of knives that make me go swing as anybody you'll see. He's got some cool stuff. And I think he was being humble when he said what little research he does. He knows the history of a lot of these knives, or at least I learn a lot.
Yeah, it's just kind of
thank you, buddy.
A rabbit hole.
I appreciate your support, my friend. It is a rabbit hole. I've really noticed that I've gone in 2 years, not from 0 to 60, but I went from 0 to 35 pretty quick.
It was a big jump and fast. Like I spent so many years, I don't just like not knowing what was out there and just being completely, and I think everybody goes through that stage, right? You find your budget knives and it slowly escalates. And I still remember just one winter where it just kind of took off, and then that was it. It was when I had knee surgery that winter, and so I spent a lot of time watching videos, and I got the Riot Redemption, the Street Redemption, I think it was. And then I got some Spyderco's, and then I got a Microtech, and then it was, I got my first Chris Reeve, and then I was just kind of off to the races. So
it's an interesting hobby, isn't it? I mean, I started with my first, and I always was a knife guy, and I think I've still got my first fixed blade that my dad got me, and I need to go look in his gun vault, because I want to say it may be a case, because it's about this long, and it's got the leather rings around the handle that are a little bit different color, and has real shiny bolt. I mean, it's old. But when I started collecting again, it was at the beginning of COVID. And I want to give Metal Complex was probably the first person that I got attracted to. And somehow I got sucked into Grateful Panic's live stream. And that's when I really became kind of infatuated with the community and the people more so than the knives. And I just started joining live streams and absorbing content. And I bought CRKT CEO was my first like modern knife, and it came in, and then I was just buying budget knives like crazy, and most of them have been great to have, because the ones that are going into the giveaways now are budget knives that I've kept in my collection because I really liked them, and it was before I ever did overviews of videos, so there are none that I could really talk about that were crappy. And to be honest, I didn't know a crappy knife from a good knife. And my first high-end knife, which is not a high-end knife, I bought it at St. Nick's here in Huntsville, and it was a Spyderco Dragonfly in VDP in the Hunter Green. And then shortly after that, I bought a PM2 in the Blurple in the S110. And something happened around, and I never got COVID during the lockdown, if you want to call it that, because we weren't really locked down. But about 3 months in, I went kind of crazy and just started. I had to have, and I think it was a combination of my sleep habits and me getting weak at about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, where I just go and order stuff. And I'm not a drinker anymore, but I still will forget that I ordered 2 or 3 knives, and I'm just looking around. And when I see it, I'll just add it to the cart and buy it. But the good thing about getting into nicer knives is I'm not buying as many knives, and my spending habits haven't really changed that much because I'm not bringing in a lot of knives that are good knives, but they're not really what I'm still into. I still have a warm spot for those knives because I know I loved them so much. But it just kind of changes in my opinion, everything's relative, I guess.
Yeah, I never knew there was this whole world. I was addicted to $20 knives. And I thought I had to have, anytime I was in Walmart or Cabela's and there was like a SOG on sale or something, I was like, oh my God, that's only $19. I have to have it. And I've got them scattered through. I'm also like a bag addict. I've got backpacks and duffel bags and range bags and all my range. So I went, like, every bag had to have its own knife. And then it was just like, I didn't even know this other world existed of expensive knives until I don't even know what it was that suggested the video, but I came across like a Nick Chavez video on the Norseman, and I was like, wow, I like that, but I'll never have it. And then I found out about Strider, I mean, God, years and years and years ago, from SOE, Special Operations Equipment. I guess they used to share a shop back in the day. And I thought, I really like the look of that knife. I'll never have that knife. And, you start making more money and quit buying, $110 knives and put that money into something else. So, yeah, it's fun, and it's gotten expensive, but
well, you seem to have a good eye and a good system to where you do trade a lot of knives and you'll sell knives that you don't carry to kind of fund to where you've got equity built up, or you've got some where with budget knives, nothing against budget knives, but they don't really hold that. You can sell a lot of budget knives, but what Dark Gravity taught me, or not early enough, but to just keep a list of things like you said that I like that, but I'll never have it. That's outside of my reach. And instead of buying that knife every other day, just think, how does that impact me being able to go after something I don't think I can have, which really just changed my brain in a day. Wouldn't you say, Dark Gravity? That I still make mistakes and I'll fall back to my old ways, but now I've got a channel and I've got to review the Nightshade because it looks cool, right?
You're justifying bad behavior there.
Yeah, because I don't have the collection of nice knives that I hope at some point to have, but I know how to go about it now a lot better. So hopefully I'll continue to go down the rabbit hole, and it'll cost me, but I don't have a wife anymore, and that's been a while. I'm happily not there, and my daughter's grown up, so, and I've been working. I'm an old dude, so I might as well buy sharp shit, right? Bullets are getting too expensive.
And like you said, I think the pandemic helped out. What was
the
that?
pandemic being high. Go ahead, Dark Gravity.
Oh, I was going to say, the reason I've told you 1,000 times, one of the biggest reasons I don't have a channel is I can't afford to have a channel. Because I'm not going to go and review and buy, $50 knives and $75 knives, and there's nothing wrong with them. Because I will buy one if I like it. If it's a knife I like, I don't care what it costs, I'll buy it. It's just that a lot of them, like right now, the knife that, if I was to buy a knife today, if I had the money, it would be an Evo.
You watched Lefty's video, didn't you, where he said where you watched his live and he said that's the one knife he probably wouldn't sell, and that decided that you had to have one because you're so tiled into lefty.
No, actually, I haven't seen the video. It's just that, you know, I don't know, for 4 or 5 years now, that's been a kind of a grail knife. And I've just either not had the money when I needed it, or whatever the case may be. I don't even remember why I didn't get in on the last pre-order. Probably because I don't like the idea of having $600, $700 floating out in limbo for 9 months or a year.
It's you have the money. You're just a very responsible American. If more people were treated their security like you did, the country would be in a different place.
No, I would just lose my ever-loving mind if my knife never showed up, or if it showed up and it was a broke dick piece of shit, and I done spent $700 on it. You know, because I don't mean to sound bad, but you know, I kind of got proven right with part of it, with the whole deal with the Leon Mock, you know, 3.5 inch or whatever it was. I mean, half the people weren't happy with it, you know, and they spent $400 on a knife and they get it and it's not what they want.
That's unfortunate. That's
but it's a risk that you take, and I'm just not willing to take that risk. I would rather pay an extra couple $100, because I think you can get them now for about $900, which is a couple $100 above what they were when they dropped on NC Blade. Which, yeah, it sucks to uppay, but at least you know the knife's not a piece of junk, and you didn't wait. You didn't have $600 or $700 floating in limbo for a year and a half.
Talk about having money floating in limbo for a long time. I ordered a custom little short scale 3-string bass guitar from a dude in Slovakia 3 fucking years ago. And I ordered it, and then, I mean, understandably so, he had a baby that wound up being a NICU baby. So that was like the first year was him spending all this time back and forth in the hospitals. And then as soon as that was done, freaking COVID hit and everything was shut down and his supply train was shit. And then as soon as that started opening up, freaking Russia invades. And then it's just been one thing after another. And it's been like 6 months at this point, again, since I had heard from him last. And I was like, you know what? I put like $750 down on this thing. I put 50% down. And I was like, you know, just last night or 2 nights ago, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I was laying in bed, couldn't sleep. I'm like, I'm done. This is a write-off. And it's like his spidey senses must have been tingling, because today I got a message from him like, yo, dude, things are moving. I'm working on it. And he sent me a bunch of pictures. And I said to him straight up, I was like, oh, man, I'm surprised to hear from you. I'd written you off. But that experience unto itself is exactly why I'm so adamant against buying into a pre-order if I don't know the exact time frame when things are being made, when they're being assembled, so on and so forth. I actually have a video coming out tomorrow on the microburst, and I was talking to KC, and I was like, you know, what's the timeline of, you know, what's going on here? And he's like, dude, by the time your video goes up tomorrow, they're supposed to start assembly next week, and I'm hoping to have them in people's hands within like a month and a half, 2 months tops from that point. I'm like, okay, so that's a timeline I can give people. They can give their own, you know, they can decide what to do with their money. Me, on the other hand, I won't do it. Like, I love Knife Standards. I think he's an amazing dude, but I told him straight up, I'm like, dude, I'll share your stories, I'll share your product, but I will not buy one until they are in hand and you have an extra, and then I'll buy it, or I'll find one on the secondary. Because with all the health issues I have, and the fact that I ride a motorcycle and I could get mowed over by a freaking truck tomorrow, I'm not putting hundreds of dollars out there again after this whole guitar episode. And
that's the way I look at it. I could pass, or the maker could have something terrible happen. Plus, I could be making. I'd rather, like I did on the Jaeger, know that they're going to be drops, that they're going to be extras. Know that I'm going to pay $40 more, maybe 50 or 60, and I'm going to risk not getting it. But if you're plugged in and you've got a will, you're going to find it, right, without getting your head ripped off, because the demand is there for those type of knives. And I know there are knives that you can't do that on, Evos. But
and frankly speaking, even if there are none, there's always that handful of people that buy it, get their hands on it, go, and then turn around and put it up on NAF sale or another, another site and sell it the same day they got it.
That's something I've heard a lot of people over the years say, like, and I told John that, and so, of course, John's probably the only person who knows. I keep procrastinating starting a channel. And I told John that I would talk about this knife. I would do a video on this knife if I ever did a video. And the reason is there's no such thing as a knife that's not available. It may be hard to find. You may have to pay a premium for it. You may have to pay a premium for it because they don't make it anymore. But not every knife is still available. You can go on Facebook and Instagram and join these groups, and you can find a stag handle trapper if you want. You can go on eBay and find one. There's various groups. One of the knives that Scotch and Things showed in one of his recent videos that I watched, he's got a SMF with a nightmare grind. Those are hard to get. Unless you're willing to pay for it and willing to beg folks in groups and forums and chats and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you can get one. You're really making me uncomfortable with me being big.
You're doing a great job. I'm about you finish your thought, and I'll bring you down. You're doing great.
But that's something that, I hear it all the time, though, from people doing videos. And they're like, I hate to do this video because this knife's not available no more. Yes, it is. You just have to be willing to look for it and put in the work. If you want it, you can have it.
That's a great point.
I don't know if you saw me all the time because I primarily, I show the stuff that I buy and the stuff that I like, which are things that, wow, that is wicked.
That's enough for the Yeti.
You hit me upside the head with a brick there real quick. But yeah, I show I show knives that look like they fell off of a spaceship, like that thing right there. Good grief, yes.
That's a wicked grind. What do you even call that?
He calls that just his nightmare grind, and this is a big, long knife.
I'm going to bigify you while you show that big knife, because that's too.
This is one I thought I would I thought I would never have, and I carry it. The tip is gone on it, and it's God. I love these things. And it's not for. I think that's a big part of it too, is finding your style.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew my style, but I think over the last couple of years, there's I've gotten knives I've liked, but then a lot of stuff is left too because I'll piss the money away on something thinking I'm going to like it, and I'm really excited when I do a video on it, and then 3 days later I'm like, eh. So
that's like the new District 9 that I got. I got it because I love District 9. And I was like, it's the new District 9. I got to put hands on it. It's an integral. It's cool, but it's bad. It's, I'm sure a lot of people out there will think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but to me, it's not my thing. It's on washers. It's not on bearings. It's got the thumb disc that's in a really wonky position. I've tried everything under the sun to try to adjust the pivot, and the way that it's made, it's just too tight. So it's always going to it feels like it's on. I bet my brain is going sideways. I've had knives that have been on washers before, and you can adjust them and make them feel like they're not on washers. And this thing, I've been open and closing, open and closing, open and closing. And no matter what I do, because the blade is so light, it's always going to feel like it's on washers. And that just, I don't like that at all. But I should be able to turn around and flip this thing soon, because they're always in small batches. And once they're gone, they're gone. And somebody out there is going to want it. So
I think that was a big thing too, like buying stuff I like, not because I watched a video and everybody else liked it, and then I would get it and I'd be like, oh, I mean,
yeah.
you know, and it just wasn't for me. It was just like a hype knife, like just what's the most popular, you know, like I got one of the Evos. I liked it. It was an awesome knife, but then it was like, well, did they used to make clones? And I don't want to get into that. So I was like, oh, I'll just move it along and trade into something else. So, but it was an awesome knife and the grind was amazing. And yeah, so instead I bought the ugly American version of it. But that's another, like, chasing down these older knives that aren't in production anymore has been fun.
And it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, I mean that is one of the cool things about the stuff that I do buy is I buy a lot of Max Ace, I buy a lot of Nock knives, and I buy a lot of District 9. And every one of those is very limited drops.
Nice shooter.
The majority of them sell out in mainland China before they even hit AliExpress, or the few that get sent over to like White Mountain Knives, or I know JD Cutlery always gets like 3 or 4 of each one that he does anno jobs on and then turns around and sells them kind of customized. But once they're gone, they become very sought after by people that collect space knives like I do. So I know if I sit on this one that I don't really like, it won't be too long before it'll be easy to get rid of. I disagree, Scoot. You can have your preference, but no. Yeah, I absolutely disagree on that.
Guys, I was going to show you real quick what we'll give away tonight. And again, when Jason comes on, that's another giveaway with the J-Cal, which is awesome. But I'm going to have y'all seen this Savivi before? This is called the Little Fiend. It came out around the same time, a little bit before the Elementum. It's an early Savivi, but it is tits. It's got a flipper. It's got a hollow grind. And it's got my 17.5 degree edge on it. It's sharpened as well. It's D2. It's G10. Rare, and it's free. And it's never been hard used. Yeah, it's got a good little choil. I like it much better than the Savivi. That's why it stayed in my collection, because it's just a nice small knife, and it's the only Savivi besides. And these are before the Elementum launched. They had a big full-size knife that had a finger hole, but this little guy I just loved when I saw it. And it's been a knife that I've carried a good bit, but I don't hard use my knives. I cut open packages. And then therapy for me, if I'm not sitting on the couch watching YouTube flipping them, is I like to go. I've gone through and sharpened all my knives on my TS Pro. I love doing that. And then I also like loving on them, which is keeping the blades clean, waxing them up so they don't, get rusty or crappy, because it's therapeutic. That's where I used to cut myself the most, was when I'd use my fingers to put on, I forget what type of blade shit I was using, but I would cut my fingers doing that. But so yeah, it's a good knife. It's free, and I love it. Again, that'll be the giveaway if you guys go over to Sharif's page, watch his most recent video, and leave the comment #JuhVon in the video, and we will draw for you guys. And I'll put a lot of credit in the honor system and then go back and check. So hopefully all you guys will go at least leave a comment for Sharif, and I'll put the link in the chat again, and then I will not talk about it anymore. But when Jason comes on, we will have a cool JCal to look at and give away. And what I want to do, and I want y'all to talk and tell me if you would want to look at this. I was going to share Jason's Instagram page and show you some different stuff that he's made for some of these people recently, if that sounds cool. OMG. I'm going to change what I just said. I don't want to look at Knives Down. Welcome, Matisfaction.
Hello.
How are you, buddy?
Fine. I got tired of hearing Old McDonald, so I thought I'd hop on.
I'm glad you did. That's why I love having you guys on, because I am trying to multitask, which I fail at miserably. Hopefully it's entertaining. But I'm glad you're here, buddy. What'd you carry today?
How could you be tired of hearing Old McDonald?
It's cocoa melon. I had the Chavez today.
Rachel?
Nice. Make you big for just a second.
Oh, okay. No forehead screws.
Oh, that's the good one.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I'm going to show
Rachel.
I learned how to finger flick it too.
The one with the forehead screws looks like how my wife used to look at me when I used to go out drinking, come home really drunk. You're like, I don't know a set of eyes to look in.
That is awesome, Maddie.
Am I wrong? They came with, because someone just posted in the Chavez group, the originals came with forehead screws, and then he went away on the Riot, and then he brought them back. Is that right?
Well, I noticed
So
you're Scotch and Things. Do you know Matisfaction? Matisfaction, do you know Scotch and Things?
We've talked a couple times in chats. I know
Welcome,
he's
guys.
by Dave. Where's my thing at? Shit.
Because he was showing Scotch and Things. I watched his unboxing yesterday on this knife, which is a mid-tech or a custom.
It's a mid-tech, and I should ask, the guy I got it from, they're older. I'm trying to think when I got my first Redemption. That was like 4 years ago. So these are at least 8 years old, 7 years old, something like that. And they don't.
Hey, Groundhog.
So, but someone in the Chavez group online, his V1. There's the V1, the V2. This is the 2.5, and then there's a version 3 before he axed the American-made ones, and they all had screws in the head. And then the Riot ones didn't, and then they did, so you could switch out clips, right? If you didn't like the skull. There it is.
Yeah, they did put to change the clip on the previous generation, you had to take the whole knife apart.
Yeah, they were hidden.
The current version, it is back in the forehead, so you can just take the screws out and swap the clip.
I'm gonna try and do that on mine right now if I can find the stupid clip. There it is.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah, the guy I got it from, he sent me another clip with it too. We'll throw a little bit of color on.
But how often do you change clips? I mean,
well, it's still the skull. It's still the skull clip. It's a purpley blue one.
Oh, okay, that's.
And
cool.
I thought I would I don't know. I mean, it's a Chavez clip, but just anodized, and I think I'll put that on because these things are I'm going to carry it and use it, but do I want to screw up the original clip now that I've got a spare? I don't know.
So you look at the anodized as a spare. I noticed that in your unboxing, where it would have definitely added cost.
It added cost, but the way the Chavez group guys look at it, these unmodded. So, I'm fairly new to the knife modding world too. I would never think to do that. I finally got my first one done. But these things, no matter what, if it's the Riot version or the American one, it's kind of a blank canvas, right? It's just kind of a big chunk of titanium, and guys go crazy with them.
Yep.
And mine was, like I said, I liked the knife. I liked how it felt in hand, but it was so janky. I was a little hesitant to do the trade on this one because I was like, well, you know, it didn't. I mean, I liked mine, but I wasn't impressed with it. Well, it was just, it had seen so many people, and who knows who was doing the mods, and because now Chavez won't touch a modded knife for warranty work, be it a Riot one or one of his mid techs. So them being unmodded is a pretty, I think, big deal, and for the Chavez guys when they're selling them. There you go.
So you would so if you scratch up your blurple, you put back on the original, and you've got a more valuable knife than if you, even though the clip was extra, you still got the original.
Yeah,
unscathed.
if that makes any kind of sense. Like the one I had before that had done scale work and it had been anodized 1,000 different times, and the lock bar had been tweaked. It had really bad lock rock, and then the lock bar you could tell like something just wasn't right. It was, someone had been in there so many times kind of trying to tweak it that it just felt, when the knife flicked open, it didn't have a good sound. It didn't make good lockup, and it just felt weird. It felt almost hollow, if that makes sense. And it's not a hollow knife. Like he's done no milling, and for a big heavy titanium knife to just feel weird, it had just been kind of tinkered with too many times. So I was a little disappointed. Like, wow, man, I really liked my Riot one, and the American one kind of janky. Well, I'm glad I got to try a non-molested one, because it's a big difference. And not saying that all modded ones are bad. I guess it's who's doing the modifications and how many hands it's changed in its lifetime. So,
has Doom done a disassembly video on it? Yes. No value left in that knife.
You do a good job. I mean, you've got the patience to get them back together. I mean, I just give you mad props for doing live streams, Doom's break stuff. They're so entertaining, and you always get them back together that I've seen, except when you broke the tool on your District 9 that you eventually got back together, and it's right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
That one with all the bearings, that was nuts. He took it apart twice.
Yeah, that's the one that Cole has now. And then it's supposed to be going off to Jason Grant. But I think Cole still has it. Because as much as he says it hurts his wrist and it's too big for him, I think he is just eating it up.
He loves big stuff. I mean, Cole is, that's why I was saying when he put the SMG in his favorite knife drawer, I thought that was just, I thought he was going to pass that on. Can y'all see my screen?
Yep.
Why is it showing wonky? Why is it not showing me the whole image? I never use Instagram on my...
Here, maybe you have to click on it.
I just tried to, and it just shows the... let's see what this does. It just shows the... Hold on a second. Let me figure this out.
What's missing?
You got to go... But
this is the one that we just saw in real life.
You know what Stevie pointed out to me? The J call. You know what that stands for, right, JuhVon?
I just found out. I do. Yeah, Jason told me.
Awesome.
I thought that was pretty cool too. This one right here. Some of these are for sale, guys. And when I reached out to him, and I need to check my text because he's going to join us shortly. He put this up today. 140 shipped. 6 3/4 inch.
It's gone already.
Is it? Okay. Because. But what I wanted to point out to you guys is he has been getting these blanks now water jetted by, I forget who it's called. Their company in his town let's see. But all these are JCal handles that you can get I mean, he is such a flipping artist, guys.
Oh yeah, that piece of paper with the scratch art on it. He posted it up. He's like, "Yeah, I drew up these 4 while I was drinking my coffee this morning. So if you want one of these, just let me know and I'll knock it out for you."
And guys, he makes these things quick, and they are handmade. I mean, this is a small knife, but look at the cost of it. And then when you go high end and get something, every single one of his knives are unique.
I like
and when
the
I saw it,
Alperota patch.
Yeah, mine cost about twice that, but it's significantly bigger and it's got a lot of like the carving in it.
yeah, I mean, you think of the time, this is all done by hand. And what is amazing to me, because he talked to me early on when we were talking about it, he does all of his grinds by hand, these deep hollows, and they are absolutely sick. But just what an artist. And something I found out fascinating about him, that one's coming to me, or one just like it's coming to me.
You know, like that? All right.
Stevie just
I've got
his.
2 on top of the one I've got 2 that I bought recently, last week actually. But it's just, to me, they're so unique. And he told me that, he's a tattoo artist. There's Jason. Super nice guy, but he's a tattoo artist. And he tells me his approach to knife making is very similar to the way he tattoos, because he thinks of it in textures, which I think might make it. There's the pre-order is right now live for the Tripper, which is a small knife, guys. This is awesome. If Tanto's your deal, it is just like a gripper, but it's small, has the multiple deployments, and I love the coffin-shaped hole. This one's being made by Best Tech. The order's already in, so it's a short pre-order. But these knives that he's doing now, again, no two will be the same. And people that DM him, didn't you think it was an easy process, Doom? A to Z told me it was simple.
Oh yeah.
And he communicated with him the whole way through.
Said, "Hey, this is what I want. This is how I want it. This is how big I want it." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, cool." And then every single day there on out, he sent me like 1 or 2 little videos, just like, "Hey, Doom, here's the process. This is how it's going." Yeah, I think.
Can y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that music for a second? Because he does these little videos. I'll find one of the personalized ones. But look at that. That's the Tang. Done by hand.
Yep.
I just think that's so cool.
That with just like a little grinder, like a grinding wheel. And
I just think it's so cool.
It up.
But yeah, guys, hopefully I know somebody in here is going to win one tonight, but these are awesome. That's the one that I showed y'all earlier. That's the one that I've got. And look at that pin.
Hey, has he sent you the gripper with that crazy spine that runs all the way down the blade yet?
No, that's coming to you after he does. And the only one he sent me was the little Tripper. But he is going to send me that one, and you're going to get it after me, and I'll only use it for a day.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I get something like that, and I turn and burn it. I do a quick overview. I put my hands on, and then I flip it off to whoever the next person is.
That's another one with a doodad on it, another small one like mine.
I like how he throws brass nuts on as beads.
Oh, yeah.
Where's he getting these old school skate patches?
Oh, he hasn't made.
That was a Roscoff design. I love that one.
Yeah. He's got that, and he's got the old Bones Ripper.
Yeah.
Are you a skater? I when I was younger.
Hey, I skate life every day, dude. I've got 14 setups, and I do about, this time of the year, about 10 miles a week. In the summer and spring, I'll do 30. I just do on flats, though. Push life all day long. I used to do crazy shit.
I wanted to get some boards for my girls, and my wife was like, "No, Bartham's." I'm like, "Oh, they'll be fine." I wish I would have kept all my old decks.
They'd be worth a fortune.
I've got Tony Hawk with remember the Bonite?
Yeah.
Pal Peralta did. I've got almost in mint condition because that was a deck when we still were just getting in and not very good. So it had rails everywhere on it. So it's in like mint condition. So is my Roscop deck. And then they started getting thrashed and broken. And I want to start getting some reissue decks just to we're moving and I'm going to not be sharing a space in a storage room. And I'll actually have my own room. And I just envision my cool stuff hanging on the walls.
And decks are hard too.
The one deck I wish I still had is my old. It was the original Twin Tail Mike Valley with the little piggy farm on it. I don't know if you remember.
Thank you, Maddie.
That was my favorite deck of all times.
Could you read the super chat, please?
I will read the super chat. I'm looking at it on my iPad. J Cal equals J Evans Addicted Life. Freaking J Evans Knife Addict Life. Freaking amazing.
Everyone needs to know.
Yeah, it's I'm very humble, and it's all Jason. All I did was talked about the fact that people love small knives, and I think that he's an absolute artist and talented. And guys, the funny thing about Jason is he's not cocky. He's too humble. He doesn't think his stuff is necessarily as good as it is. So I just kind of encouraged him to do it, that throw some out there. I promise they're awesome. And they are. So I appreciate that.
I am trying to get into fixed blades.
I never ever had until Lefty convinced me to get one of these, and Honey Bear made it possible. The Chickadee. Now
you like that?
I love it. I've got two of them. This is Magna Cut, and my other one is the one Honey Bear made available. It's a full flat S90V with my Carta handles, and this one is a Magna Cut with G10, full flat or 3/4 flat. And then I started buying, because before I got the Chickadee, I had bought a Tucson TS150, which is a real small $45 knife from White Mountain that looks just like a Chickadee, S90V. And I recommend it to anybody who's not sure if they would carry a small fixie every day. But what I've done now is my left pocket is usually going to be containing a pocket dropper with a small fixie in it that I find myself using for cuts more than my folder, or I'll carry a small fixie on my belt, scout carry. And it doesn't impact my comfort because it's not a big knife. And when I go to make a cut, it's just as easy to grab that fixie as it is to grab my hinderer.
That's I got some bigger fixed blades because I was like, when we go camping, I'll use them. But I got this Bowedeman, I think it is. I think they're from Ohio. And I freaking love this knife. And I've carried it a couple times. But I need to find a better... it's in 3V. I don't know. I need to find a better way to carry it. The sheath that came in, I need to see if I can make some soft loops work so I can scout carry it. I just can't. I'll stick a gun down my pants, but it terrifies me to stick a knife down my pants for some reason.
I know a guy who sells some straps.
Yeah.
So, like the soft loops?
Pull up the
leather.
Pull up the sheet that Lancelot just finished for me today.
Oh, that thing was sweet.
Let me pull it up real quick, and then I'll share it. I apologize if y'all hear my dog slurping water.
Are you feeling uncomfortable being bigified yet?
Yep, I'm gonna make you small. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was just staring, trying to read the.
I'm bad, guys. I'm just learning
comments.
how to.
I got some right here.
It's funny,
Ooh, Doom. Let me share this. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's
Dooms,
the first
though.
time seeing that. Yeah, it's so doomy. So doomy.
Sorry, not to interrupt. Someone just put a Roscop comment in. Oh wait, let's look at these sheets. Is that he made that? That's leather?
That's Lancelot leather. So he made the sheath. He's making me a pocket dropper for my J-Cal, but these are the leather straps that he makes that he sells on EDC Roundtable.
Is the retention pretty good?
Fantastic.
Do you need
He
to
makes
send them? Do I need to send them the knife?
You
And then he
would
can
if
make
you talk to him and you talk to Joe. I call him Master Yoda, like Master Yoda, and he's in Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, real close to me. And it takes him about a week to turn it around. He makes super cool wallets. Let's look at some of his other stuff. Here's one he did for a Bradford, a pocket dropper for Guardian 3.
I got a couple I could show you right here, man.
Let me quit sharing.
Let me go turn my my big light on.
And the guy who stopped by tonight to drop off to let me unbox his J-Cal is the first person who sent Joe his EXO to make these slips that were so inspirational and sold so many of them that Joe fell in love with the EXO and finally picked one up.
Yep.
But A to Z,
he does wet form if you want him to.
This is if you want to bigify me real quick.
All right, let me stop sharing 1 second. I'm gonna bigify you. Hold on. I apologize, guys, for being incompetent.
Don't apologize.
Oh, I'm all about it.
This is the black and purple, because I don't like clip slips. I like belt stuff so I can wear them canted forward. But this is the purple and black tri-hatch that he made for my EXO. And then this is the color shift dragon scale that he made for my albatross.
And those are fitted pretty tight, right?
Oh yeah, they're super tight. But I mean, they're not scout carry. They're kind of canted. But yeah.
Welcome, Forrest. How are you, buddy? Hey, Mike Jernak.
But yeah, he does really, really good work. He did one for my big knife that Skelton has right now, so I can't show that one. But yeah, Joe does all of my leather sheaths, and
Maddie, did you ever get your cod piece?
No.
He's making me one for Blade Show, Maddie.
What?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
He's making me a metallic purple color shift cod piece that I can wear under my robe, my Doom Hef robe back there. You're gonna see me that first Friday at Blade Show just humping around in slippers in my Hef robe.
If he makes you a cod piece, I'm gonna end him. But here's mine. You don't have to bigify me. You don't have to bigify me. I have one of his first slips.
I haven't seen that pattern before.
And that's going to clip on it?
This one has the big fat clips, but he's using Lynch clips now. He collabs with him.
And it's got a little thing cut out of it. The Lynch clip's unique that Joe's got, because I remember he was waiting for those, and I'm waiting for him to get a spot open where I can send him 2 knives. I've never had. The only thing I've got from Joe is a Detent Diva coaster that I won from Lefty. I feel like I need to get a mat or a leather sheath or something. Because it works so good. Yeah, Grateful Panic's got his here, and it's just awesome.
Show it. Let's see it.
Oh, it's not like here. It's back in his room, and I'd have to get up and climb out of my space, and I'm having too much fun with you guys. But I've tried to get him to jump on. I know he went out and skated just a second ago, and he just got off work.
You know what lives in my original Riot Exo sheath? Can you guess?
A blunt.
No, I know the answer.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because you showed up before. Yep.
Is that the Savivi?
You wound up with the crappiest detent freaking Desert Warrior ever.
Oh, you could send that back and get it replaced, dude. Did you get it from Blade H Screw?
Yeah, I don't care, man. I'm keeping it long enough to where my daughter can actually carry a knife, and then it's hers. So it lives in the pile in the slip. Yeah,
where'd you get the doodad, Maddie? Show that doodad again.
Soap on a rope.
I like that.
It glows in the dark too. But it's got a soap shape to it. But he made it like this skeleton dude, and the spine feels really cool.
Yeah. That's the same guy that made your brain, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's awesome. I have some right here.
Hey guys, I'm going to remind y'all, and I can put the link up if I need to get over to Sharif's page and go to that first video that we were looking at earlier. This one right here. I'm going to share the screen for 1 second. If I can bring my brain to put together enough. Oh, sweet, Maddie.
I love that guy, and he helps autism causes. So that's a win-win.
Nice. How big are those things actually, Maddie?
The soap?
Yeah.
Once he's done sharing there, I'll put it in my palm.
I'm about to be done. I'm going to pop the link, and then I'm going to say real quickly that the first video, the best ergos in the game, just jump in there and in the comment section first, subscribe if you haven't already, which most of you probably are. Hit the bell notification, and then just go down and put hashtag JuhVon in a comment under this video, and we'll do a drawing in about 10-15 minutes for the little fiend. This bad boy right here.
These are my...
Oh, those are smaller than I thought they would be.
He's making a new XL version, but
no, I don't.
Oh, let me make it big. Hold on, let me bigify you. I thought it was red.
Oh, I have 3.
I carry big enough knives. I don't need to carry a full bar of soap size thing in my pocket, too.
He has smaller things. I just loved the brains. I'm a big science guy, so anything to do with anatomy. So this is like the glow in the dark Demogorgon from Stranger Things style, and then your regular original.
They're hard to get too, man. I've looked numerous times, and they're always sold out.
They look
awesome. The ridges, they feel so cool in your hand, though. They're not like smooth. They're lumpy.
It'd be cool if they were squishy.
I'll show you my favorite one, though. Some of you might know where it's from. Oh, here's a couple. This one is like so cool looking. Smoke.
Is that Jank?
No, this is the same guy. Soap on a rope.
Oh, really? What materials are that? What's the clear stuff? Is that just resin?
Resin on burl wood. And then he also makes cool little shrunken heads. Doom would like these, I think.
Yeah, those things are super cool.
But my favorite, I don't mean to take over your show.
No, you go on.
Where's my favorite? There it is. The Necronomicon.
Looks like Chewbacca.
It kind of does. But this is from Army of Darkness. I mean, not Army of
the little shrunken head reminds me of Beetlejuice.
Yes. And I'm a big Beetlejuice fan. I thought the same thing. I even told him that. But I'm done show and telling. You better stop me or I'll bust out an old box of knickknacks.
Go, man, you take it over. I'm sitting here communicating. I'm texting back Jason. He's going to jump on in just a sec. And I'm trying to multitask. I can't do it.
Yeah, the Scout straps, though. Joe makes some pretty good ones. These are the chameleon paint. They're just cool looking. Something different.
Chameleon.
Yeah, it just seems easier than pulling.
I can't wear anything that has a handle on it. I got to wear it scout carry because I got a big old muffin top, and I go to sit down, and then my handle stabs me in the gut, and then it's not comfortable. So I wear the majority. I either wear scout carry or those other ones that I showed you. They're belt slipped, but they're designed to be worn canted. Yeah.
I can move this one and cant it, but still it doesn't cant enough and it's just a lot. If there's I don't know where to, like on my side, or I don't know where to carry it.
That's that dad bod life.
Yeah. It's something.
Guys, welcome to the stream. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Jason Grant.
What's up, Jason?
I'll make him big.
Jason.
Hi guys, what's up? How you doing?
Good, man. How about you?
Great, man. I don't know if you saw earlier, but A to Z brought his box by tonight, walked in my house while I was live, and I got to unbox it after I showed the stream his address and got his just total ass chewing. But that knife that you sent him, the JCal XL, is fucking to die for, dude. He's loved it. I think that's the Doom edition, right?
Yeah, the big one. It's just the JCal, but bigger. That's all. Oh, cool. I'm glad he liked it.
He loved it. Go ahead, bud. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're good. We just switched our internet shit. So if I get weird, that's probably why. I had a hard time even getting on just now. Anyways, that's all.
I'm down with getting weird.
I see that little knife sold that you posted up earlier.
This little dude right here. It's just G10. I just made it this last week. It's kind of like yours, a little bit bigger though.
God, it's just awesome, dude. I mean, the treatments are amazing.
The Battle Black.
I don't know, Jason. I'm voting that the big one gets dubbed the Doom Edition.
Yeah, you like that?
For that naming convention.
Yeah, I like that. The Doom Edition.
Look at that.
Sounds right. This is yours, Sean. You know that.
That is awesome, dude.
Yeah, I might hit it a little more, thin it out. It's about 15th thou behind the edge. I don't know. That's where I like them, but I don't know.
I like that.
It still has like the old school like cleaver hole on it, so you're done using it, you hang it up on the hook.
Yeah, it even has a little
fans.
Little dingleberry fucking hole right there too,
Yeah.
And I cannot stress the handle ergos on these knives.
Well, that's why I've been keeping them the same, because this blade, this like handle shape, for whatever reason, dude, and I've tried, you guys have, well, John, you've seen how many different handle shapes I've tried over the last few months. And just this little sweeping back that kind of goes into that palm right there. And then that nice flat spot for your fingers. It feels nice. I really like that shape. That's why most of my knives lately have had that shape,
It's very organic, and it just kind of lays in your hand. That's sick, dude. I don't see how you manually did that.
These are rough grinds, so they look a little shaky, but they haven't even been heat treated yet. So once they get heat treated, then I'll go through and dial them all in,
I mean, I think it looks perfect, but I know you've got a different eye than I do, and that's just, look at that, guys. Yeah. Is that one made for somebody? I mean, look at the choil, the sharpening choil.
I just made it to make it, just messing around. One of the guys at the tattoo shop, I think he wants to get this one, but he's not sure yet. But it's kind of weird, right? It's going to be like double-sided, so it's going to be sharpened on all three sides.
God, dude. Just because you can.
Yeah, I don't know, just for fun, right? Like, I don't know.
That's just absolutely wicked, dude. Absolutely wicked. You guys need to, if you're not subscribed, it's on the scroll, the Instagram Brass Brigade. Reach out to Jason, watch, because every now and then I've noticed, is it daily or I know it's weekly, you throw some up that are ready to grab now.
Every couple days I try to put one up, oh, look, remember that little one you wanted me to make you?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't happy with it, so I'm making this one for you.
Oh my God, look at the fat belly on that sick little knife.
It's little, dude. This dude's really little. He's like right at 5.5 inches. The blade's tiny. It's about just over 2 inches.
I love it.
But it's 2 inches of cutting area because of that big belly, but he's really small. It's a cute guy, right?
It is.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh, buddy.
I mean, that just looks like it'll just bury to your hand.
Yeah. Little reverse, little Yeah, this guy, and that's a hollow grind, dude. That thing was a bitch to do, not gonna lie. because you got to like, you put it up there on your wheel and you got to like kind of follow through. So you get those lines that all go the right direction.
Well, you've got to have the talent to be able to do that. But then, yeah, I mean, you're not using just it just doesn't happen. Yeah, you're just using what you know or what you're learning as you kind of, like you told me, it's kind of similar to what you do tattooing, the texturing and the way that you have an individual aspect to everything that you do.
Well, I'm trying to do so, when I'm learning this stuff, I watch all the YouTube videos and I read forums and I read stuff about other knife makers, and everything I follow on like knife making, to right now, they all follow this like very like same formula. Like, I mean, down to like the grit of sandpaper used to finish like a satin, blade knife. And I don't know, man. Like, it's just like if you watch any kind of how to make fixed blade videos on YouTube, every video is pretty much the same, right? And that's cool, and that's where I started doing this stuff. But I'm trying to play around with different textures of like the grit, right? Like on my battle black, like these guys finish at like 220 grit. Like I might use a 60 grit for the text, like the stone, like the divots, but then I might use 120 for the flats, and then I might use an 80 for the bevels. So everything has a different finish. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
These guys,
and I can see it.
They do like everything will be 220, and if you want to do an acid etch blade, they'll do an acid etching, right? And throw it in a rock tumbler. And I mean, just look up like acid etch blades online, and they'll be gray and they'll all look pretty much the same by whatever knife you're looking at. I'm trying to come up with something that has like, is a little more organic, right? And through tattooing, like I've tattooed for over 30 years. So I've learned a lot of different techniques with shading and hat shading, stipple shading, dots, lines, like all that type of stuff I'm trying to bring into knife making. So I can use those different textures and to get
It'll
different
accept
looks.
the acid etching different, so it gives it that just totally unique appearance.
Well, yeah, it's hard to explain, but like, I mean, you can see like how everything is a different texture. Like that's on purpose.
Right.
It's actually easier for me to make like a super smooth satin. I mean, that's easy. You just, keep throwing your knife down on finer belts, and and then you can do some hand sanding at the end, which I hate doing. That's fucking annoying. No, it is. And I don't like really like, that really smooth satin, like easy to scratch blade finishes. I'm not into that anyways.
We'll never make those. People will still love it because what you're doing is a rough look, like Patina Cerner says. A lot of people like that rough look on fixies.
Like on like a satin, like on this kind of, like this is about as high grit as I'll go. I think this is 120 on your little cleaver, but that's the max, because any higher than that, the grind lines become even smaller, and the smaller the grind lines, the easier they show scratches. So
interesting.
Think about it. When you get those like hand sanded or hand fucking, what do they call them? The finish that some of the production knives have. It's like come on, one of you guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what it's called. Somebody throw it out. I know some of you guys know.
Like
we just call it a hand rub satin.
Yes. Dude, I was watching a Tri-State video, and I think it was a Vero. He opened a box with it and scratched that finish, because to get that look, you're working it with such a high, fine grit. It just literally shows every little blemish, like once you start using it. So, the thicker the lines, the easier, and the more it hides everyday, carry use, in my opinion. but I don't know.
Maddie, you better wake up. You got a long night ahead of you.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I don't know. That's just me, though. I'm just not a fan of, like, you know, I do like the way it looks, but, like, I just don't like the way it looks after you actually use it for a while, if that makes sense.
Well, I think that's another advantage of people reaching out to you for knives is because you know why you're doing what you're doing, and you can kind of explain it. If they like it, great. If they don't, great. You know, but I don't think anybody's going to say, "Oh, I wish it was different than you've envisioned it," because everything I've seen, they're all different, but they all are just uniquely awesome in their own way.
Well, thank you. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just learning. I don't know. I hope people like these battle black ones though, because I like them, but I'm I'm new to making these things, so I don't know. I don't have a big following, so I don't know. I like the way they look, so
I think they look great, and I think everybody agrees.
Yeah,
the more stuff you put in the more people's hands, and I mean, you ping me, you ping me several times a day. You ping JuhVon and a handful of other people, and those things just keep getting shared out, and then more people are going to get them and share them out, and then more people are going to get them, and before you know it, you're not going to be able to keep up, man.
Oh, cool, man.
I know that's going to happen. That's I just know that how I felt when I got my first one. And I know that a lot of us kind of buy knives for the same reasons because the way they make us feel. And Jason, you're doing something that is truly Tactical Cherry's already sent you a DM on IG. You should have some in your box now. And, I can't stress enough that it's not just what he makes, it's how he communicates. And he's just an awesome guy. He's passionate about it because he wants to share with you what he's done, what he likes, what he wants to change. It's just a great experience. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It will start taking more time because he's going to get more and more busy. But yeah, I'm happy for you guys that get a chance to grab one. And they're not expensive. You're buying a handmade from a true artist in the USA from USA materials. It's just a mad win.
Yeah. Even the machines are made in the USA that I use.
And
I mean,
Jason,
I have production knives made in China, right? But the ones I actually am going to make and put my hands on, everything's from America.
That is
hopefully
cool.
Someday I'll be able to have production knives made here also. That is the goal. But we're not.
I think you're doing everything. I think you're doing everything right, man. You're not doing it too fast, and I love your Lancelot, Matt. There's another one in the reel.
In the wild.
In the wild. What should we use for our hashtag? I've got Brass Brigade in now, and I haven't shared it. I just got your channel name. Is that a good one?
Yeah, the Brass Brigade. Or I think I'm going to start using, the THE and then just BRSS, BRGD.
All right, so THE, BRAS. Then what was the last part?
BRSS,
BRSS,
BRGD. It's Brass Brigade without the vowels. Brass Brigade without the vowels. I think they're vowels. Is that right? Vowels? A-E-I-O-U?
Guys, I'm going to spell it. Tell me if I'm right. THE.
I don't read all that well.
BRSS, BRGG.
BRGD.
D. God, see? All right, so the BRSS, BRGD.
Yep. Just Brass Brigade without all the vowel stuff, right? The vowel stuff.
I'm an English major, and the vowel stuff made my head hurt when I was looking at Brass Brigade that I had typed before, and I was trying to pull them out. So I'm just a brain dead. But I'm about to throw it up here, guys. And what I want y'all to do for this particular giveaway, tell me if y'all can see it.
That's it.
But just throw that bad boy in the chat. Fill the chat up with the Brass Brigade without the vowels. And we'll let that go for a while Jason shows some stuff. Because I'll leave that up there, I guess, so you guys can put it in. And then there's going to be a J-Cow coming to somebody.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, I mean, you know, you're going to give it away. So I just wanted to give something to, you know, the guys that follow you and listen to your, you know, your live streams.
Man, I appreciate that. I tell you, it brought people in here, and I swore I'd never do that, but I think it's a win-win because people get exposed to you.
I wanted to give something to you to give to the people, you know, in the community, because why not?
I think it's great, dude. I think it's great, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I think without them, I wouldn't sell any knives. So, you know, there's that.
Well, and I won't get on a rant here, but another thing that's so, to me, just awesome about Jason is he wants feedback from the community. You know, we hear a lot of drama in the knife world about, you know, pedantic makers, and I can understand, but at the same time, I don't. But Jason's just like, look, tell me what you think. And if he agrees that things need to be changed, he wants to deliver to the community what the community wants because he's part of the community. Dark Gravity will tell you that he's known about Jason for how many years, Dark Gravity?
4 or 5, it seems like. I'm not great with time. I just know he's been around for a while and different chats and different little segments of the community.
Yeah, it started out with my competitive shooting and, like, you know, the love for like the knives and guns and stuff like that. Yeah. And then, you know, and then I drew the gripper when I was on vacation in Hawaii, and posted a couple pictures of my drawing. Had SG Knives make me a prototype, all handmade by him. And then when I got that knife, I posted it and people wanted it. And then I made the gripper. In short, you know, that's it. So. And I actually, this knife, so I posted some pictures. I had a full custom made. Well, actually, I had a couple full customs made. And then I sent those out to reviewers like Tri-State, Jared, Lefty, you know, all those dudes or whatever, and got their input on it, and then made some final changes to it before I had the production knife made. And I had the knife community pick the blade steel, which at the time was M390. You know, a lot of changes were made from the people in the community, not me. I just made the basic design. You guys are the ones that refined it. I just listened, if that makes sense.
It's a fantastic knife. And the Tripper guys, I can tell you, because I'm a smaller knife guy, and I don't know if you saw Kevin's unboxing in the truck. There's just something about smaller knives, and that Tanto is just wicked.
Yeah,
got the same multiple deployments. Sorry, Jason.
Oh, no, yeah, no, the Tripper's the same thing as the gripper, just smaller. And it's just like, you know, I'll be honest, it's like it lacks in a few areas, but I got to be honest, the cool factor is fucking there. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've never bought a knife and not liked the way it looked. I'm just, you know what I mean?
That's what attracts me to a knife. That's what attracts, I think, all of us to knives.
It's like my chick. I didn't look at my wife and I wasn't like, man, I bet she has a really hot personality. Like that's not what attracted me to my wife. I'm just being honest. Luckily, she did have that, but...
You learned that, right? Or she wouldn't be your wife.
Right. But no, you know, I don't know. The looks of knives to me, obviously they have to work, they have to cut, they have to, you know, they have to not suck. But I want them to look cool too, you know? I did buy a paramilitary too, though, and I didn't really like the way that looked, but I fucking love that knife now. It took me years to buy one, but I finally did. Absolutely love it.
Howdy, Ed Harrison. I sent you a link earlier, brother. So has everybody put in the brass BRGD that wants to put that in? Because I'm going to draw here in a second because I know Jason's got things. Let's do it.
Hey Jason, yes, the Knife Inquisitor said multiple times he wants that Warncliffe Tanto thing.
Oh, this weird thing that I'm making?
Yeah, the Wanto.
The Wanto. Oh, I love that. That's what we're going to call it, the Wanto.
I love that. Weird.
Okay, tell them it's called the Wanto.
Anybody that comes in, throw in this into the chat because I'm getting ready to pull it. We got 48 chances, and I'm going to count backwards from 10. Then I'm hitting draw. 10, 9, 8.
It is a cool design, though. I like
7,
it.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, Oh, got one more in there. I'm going to see if we can get 50. I'm going to count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Would you look at that? Look at all those people.
Happy Haptics EDC. Congratulations, dude.
There you go, buddy. Happy Haptics. Make sure
He's
you send me his information, dude.
Yeah,
John,
what I'm going to
later.
do is I'm going to put my email in here right now, Happy, and I want you to send me your you can do it on IG if you'd like to, but you can send it to, let me make sure I spell it right.
His name on Instagram is Mattisfaction with an underscore.
And you can do that too, because Maddie will give it to me.
Dude, you guys have some of the raddest names. Fucking destroyer of toilets. Fucking dude, yes. So good.
That is so good. And we've got Don Ryan here. We've got he's changed his name again, but there are some funny ones. And Mattisfaction's got some. Guy. Yeah, Mattisfaction's been known to come in with some pretty wild ones. But that's our Gmail that's going to stay, our Knives Live 2021 that everybody gives me a hard time about. But the reason I don't change it every year is because I'm going to run into a year where I can't get that name. And 2021 was the first year that we ran Knives Live. And I think people remember that. Plus, I'm lazy. But if you the good thing is I don't get a lot of email there. So Happy Haptics, just shoot me your address there, buddy. I'll get it to Jason, and you will be able to share this killer knife on your IG, and you'll love it.
And he gets one of this is like I think I have 2 more of these patches left. I'm gonna throw.
Let me pull this off here so you can show it. Hold on one second. Bloop. And let me make you big. And Scotch and Things was talking about that patch earlier. He knew what it was from.
Fucking Bones Brigade.
No shit, how do you get the patches?
What's that?
How do you get the patches on your website, or how?
Oh, well, these ones, I think they still are on the website, but they're going to have to come off because I think there's 2 left after this.
Save me that one and the Roscoff one.
Yeah, the Rob Roscoff. Yep. Ooh,
my favorite quote is, "You don't get old because you quit. Oh, you don't quit skating because you get old. You quit get old because you quit skating." Jay Adams.
That's right.
We were talking about skating earlier. So you guys obviously watched the Bones Brigade documentary that Stacy Peralta did 8 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
It was. They were talking about. They were doing these nationwide skate tours, and they talked about Nebraska. If you go back and rewatch it, and it was Richie Flower Day, Flower Day, I think, owned this skate shop with this half pipe, and the pros would come skate in his backyard. Well, the skate shop was in his parents' basement, and we were way young back then, so we were no good, but we'd go down, you walk downstairs in his basement and you're like looking at all the decks hanging on the wall. And
yes,
it was just funny. These pro skaters skating in this kid's backyard, running a skate shop out of his parents' basement.
That's awesome.
That is so cool.
Very cool. Yes.
Well, Happy Haptics has hit me up, Jason, on Instagram, so I'll send that over to you later tonight. And I appreciate you so much, buddy. And I know you've got to check your inbox because you've got some inquisitions there. People asking.
Cool. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Really do.
Dude, I appreciate you. Thanks for jumping on. And any Friday night, I'd love to have you, buddy.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next week I'll have some more stuff to put up here for you.
Thanks for doing that. That was cool.
I appreciate you coming out, Jason.
Yeah, I'll try to get something. I'll this week. I know I'm going to make a couple knives and finish them for sure because I have 3 or 4 that are almost done, and I'll make sure I save one for your live stream in case someone wants to grab it.
I love that. And Andy Anderson is next level, Terry. I totally agree. I watch his videos all the time. He can do some shit in an urban landscape that is just mind-boggling.
Have you seen the guy from Geiger. He's from, I don't know, He's overseas.
H.R. Geiger?
No, he's a skater.
Oh.
And he's trying to redo all of Rodney Mullen's tricks and show how hard they actually were and how like much of a genius Rodney Mullen was. I thought his name was Geiger. Maybe it's not. He's a foreign guy.
Rodney Mullen was the lord of flat ground.
Oh, he still is. That guy still skates.
Absolutely, man. I mean, again, skating's it gets into your blood.
Yeah, I obviously I can't skate like I used to, but I still skate sometimes, believe it or not.
Yeah, Johnny Geiger.
Yeah, I don't. The only time I come off the board now is about every 180 days, and it's me slamming. But I'm a flatlands kind of. I consider myself a distance runner who's too lazy to run and realize he can go twice as fast and twice as far with half the expelled energy. Yes. But I do pay for it in skin.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, thank you guys. Yeah. I appreciate
you, dude. I love you like a brother. Good luck, man. You're gonna kill it.
I'll send Dude's knife out Monday morning, and with the patches and stuff.
Awesome. Happy Havocs will appreciate it, and I'll send you his stuff over.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna take off and hang out with the kiddo. So
take care, buddy.
Later,
have a great weekend.
You too, Jason.
All right, guys.
Good night, buddy. I just think that's so cool. This is even cooler.
Oh,
how often do you get that?
Yeah, Bigify come right with Ed shirtless.
My pants are so tight.
Hey, Ed.
The gold chains, man. You need to be hanging out down here in Florida. We'll get you
just off screen as two Playboy girls.
I tried to add you earlier, but it wouldn't let me because I can only, I guess, with the unpaid version, have 6 people up here, which is good. But I'm glad you're here, my man.
I'm gonna pull a Sawtooth Dave and a Shane. Sunglasses, no shirt.
I think that's awesome, dude. I think
it's a great combo, but it's almost an insult to Dave.
Yeah, I mean, Sunday mornings. I do love.
You got more hair than Shane.
I do love my time in Tri-States Live, but Sawtooth's Sunday rants are must-see TV for me.
Yep.
Oh, it kills me if he misses one. I hit him up one time. I'm like, "Hey, man, everything okay?" Didn't post yesterday. He's like, "Oh, we've just been super busy." Thanks for asking, though.
Yeah, you guys are tight. I think that's cool because you always mention each other in your videos.
Yeah,
I'm pulling up. Y'all keep talking. I'm just multitasking.
Wait, read Forrest super chat.
Hold on, let me get back to it. Let me get back here. Read whose? Oh, Forrest, thank you, brother. Ed's only wearing 3 socks.
Like I noticed Dave's name, like he kept commenting, and all of a sudden when you get like a regular commenter, and I didn't even realize he had a YouTube channel for months. And then I came across the video and I'm like, you didn't tell me you had a channel. And we've been talking for a couple of years now. And then we were there in end of January golfing, and he came out and met us. And I mean, shit, he drove an hour just to hang out with us one way, picked us up at the airport. I mean, just a super nice guy.
Yep. That was my biggest regret of Blade Show, which was filled with nothing but love, was not getting to meet Satu and not getting to meet Bob DeMarco. And Lindy and Richie, but I missed them just by happenstance, by not being in the same place at the right time. Why did it pull that up? That's freaking weird.
Are they still the knife modders, right? Are they still around still?
They're still around, and they are the knife modders, from what I see on their Instagram page, have turned into really the knife makers, and they're doing some little fixies too.
Heck yeah,
and I'm just putting something in the giveaway tool for our giveaway that y'all have already gone to. Let me make sure let me get my. This is where I want everyone, because we're about to give away this little knife, because I don't want to encroach into Maddie's time and I want to have time for us to talk. This is the Savivi Little Fiend, which is one of my favorite Savivis. It's been in my collection for almost 2 years. Hollow grind, D2, about the same size as the Elementum, but I think it's got a lot more soul. So that'll be given away. And what you're going to do to be eligible is go to our brother Sharif's page, which is right here. Shit. Let me just post it back in the chat instead of look for it. Hold on.
Richie was on Cole's podcast last night.
I've got to watch that because I just, Cole never told me he was doing that, so I wasn't aware of it till they started coming up to my feed.
Yep.
And is it good? Tell me about it. Because it's Richie, it's Cole, it's what's his name, Brian Kim, and then one more. Who's the fourth guy?
I can't remember their name.
Doesn't matter. Okay, go ahead, Ed. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but guys,
he's telling you, they still kind of around. They don't make videos like they did on YouTube.
Right. I think they're just really busy doing their stuff, where they were promoting before. But what we'll do, guys, is you'll go to Sharif's page, and the most recent video that he uploaded is down there, and just all you'll do is you'll go in and you'll comment JuhVon. And then I'm also going to have you guys, because I trust you all, and I'm going to go back and check that was done. But we're going to do the StreamYard tool to give it away. And I'm going to make sure I spell it right.
Sorry, guys, but I am just so tired, man.
Are you tired, dude? You don't have to apologize. You're going to have to go, or you can sleep on screen if you want.
No,
we're going to have you here.
I'm tired, man. I worked my butt off today out pruning, and the wind was so bad here, it blew the tree down in my backyard. And
we dealt with that same wind, buddy. It's been crazy.
Yeah, bad.
Well, have a good night, dude.
We had tornado warnings real close by here today.
Well, there are pine tree limbs down in the streets here, and it was just, not tornadic. We had tornado warnings the night before last, but today it was just that straight line wind.
Yep.
It was coming out of the south, I guess.
Am I echoing to y'all?
Not at all. Not to me.
I don't have my earbuds in, but even why I was asking.
I'm going to share the screen, and y'all start filling the chat with this, if I can remember how to do it.
But it's good to see all of y'all.
Ed, it is always good to see you, man. Hopefully next Friday you'll be all perked up. I still want you to come with the shades and with your flash, and we'll go from there. I love you, man.
I love all y'all too. I'm good. I'm just tired, trying to recuperate.
Get some rest, my brother. I'll see you in Tri-States Live, or I'll see you before then. Tomorrow's just Saturday.
Yep.
All right, guys, start throwing Brass Brigade. If I spelled it right or wrong, just throw it in the chat. And if you went and you subscribed, I'm using the honor system to Sharif, and you put a comment, JuhVon, in his chat. We're just trying to get him to 1,000. His content's fantastic, guys. He's an established knife designer, all-around great guy, likes fast cars, likes sharp things, likes lifestyle. I mean, it's a channel that his videos are well done. I just can't believe he doesn't have a ton of subscribers. It's just beyond me. So give Sharif some love, and we're going to give away a knife, but just drop that Brass Brigade in the comments.
I did go to Sharif's channel and comment.
Awesome, buddy. I appreciate that.
I'm already subscribed to him. I watch his channel a lot too.
I figured most of the people that come in and hang out with me are hanging out with Sharif already, but I figured it would just be a good way to promote it for anybody who wasn't, because I'd be honest with you, I discovered Sharif's channel about 4 weeks ago, maybe. I hadn't been subscribed to it until just recently. I watch every video.
A week ago. Like, it's weird, like YouTube, like, you kind of stay in your world, and it just what YouTube shows you if you don't search. And it just came across stuff.
It's
to
good
watch.
stuff.
Appreciate you putting me in there, Mike.
Thank you, Demonot. Appreciate your support, my brother. Appreciate your membership. All right, guys, I'm going to let the comments go for a while because I know y'all might be jumping over there and leaving a comment. But we'll let it go. It's 10:30 now. I'll let it go for 5 more minutes because I know Maddie, you guys go at 11:10 my time, right?
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Okay. I'll wait. Usually your notification just came up that it was no, that was Mike Imler's. I'm sorry.
How you doing this, JuhVon? Are you using the comments from his and the page both?
No, I've got comments coming through StreamYard, and I've got comments that don't show the right way on the pop out from YouTube. But when I have to go into another window to set up the giveaway, and then it collects the comments for us.
I got you. Just wondering.
But I always love when Jason joins me because I learn so much, and he makes it sound like, this is just easy stuff. He thinks it's not that interesting, and I hope y'all find it as interesting as I do.
I've been chatting a little bit with Q-Ball. He's going to be at Blade Show. He's recovering from his surgery. I don't know if y'all know it, where he had tore his tricep.
His bicep. I think that's tricep. I remember that. I walked around with Q-Ball last year. He's a wonderful human being.
He's got about 6 to 12 weeks of physical therapy now. So,
damn.
He's got his ticket already bought for Blade Show. I was wondering, was he going to make it this year? And yeah, he's already got his ticket. So,
well, I'm getting super stoked.
I want to go so bad.
Well, I hope I get to go, but things is not looking very good. The guy that I usually go with, he's a manager. It's kind of a long story. He was a manager at CBS, and they transferred him to a store in Athens, and he called a lady shoplifting, and he confronted her, and she freaking attacked him.
I'll be right back.
Thank you, Bobo.
When she attacked him, all he could do was defend himself. Well, they looked at the video more or less, and they fired his butt. So,
oh God,
he was he was my best friend. I always go to Blade Show with. So I don't know what's going to happen this year because he's done changed jobs now. So it's kind of messing me up for how I'm going to get to Blade Show this year.
How far are you from Atlanta?
It's not the distance, man. I am not good at driving in that freaking traffic.
I guarantee you someone will get you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'll come over from Atlanta because I'm going to get there probably early and stay a day late. And Ed, I'd be happy to come grab you, my friend.
I'm about an hour and a half from Atlanta.
Oh, hell, yeah. We'll get you to Blade Show, buddy. Don't let that slow you down.
I done said something to Urban a couple of times, but he never responded back to me and, kind of hinted to him, to come by and pick me up because he's coming from down south Georgia.
He's riding a motorcycle, though. You'd be riding his rear end.
Well, he can bring his ass here to my house and we can go in one of my vehicles.
Hey, just know that we'll work it out. Worst case scenario, JuhVon will come pick you up and bring you to Blade Show, and you can hang with us there. You just let me know what you need. I'd love to meet you in person. I might have met you last year.
No, we didn't get to meet. I didn't get to meet you. I didn't get to meet you, and I didn't get to meet Gons and Grumpy. Gons and Grumpy just left whenever we got there.
Okay, yeah, I think you got there on Sunday. That's when Grateful Panic said he met you, and I left. I didn't make it. I stayed in LJ, and I didn't come back, which I regret. But I'd have to let regrets go. I did not come back.
Everybody I met, I took pictures of. So that's something that I cherish there because I got a picture of me and Jason Brown. So.
Yeah, I had dinner with Jason Brown Saturday night, and Jason Bird, and Grateful Panic, and Super Steel Steve, and Justin, and from OCD EDC, and Dan Brock, and I think that was it. and it was just I'll never. That's a cherished memory. But when I heard about everybody getting together on Sunday, that's when I was determined to not make my plans this year to extend to Monday because I look forward to the people more than the knives.
Yeah. I even got to meet Jason Knight. I don't know if you ever met him before.
He's from Force and Fire, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I went by and met him.
Yeah, I met him. He was walking down the aisle more or less, and he walked by me, and I turned around and I said, Jason, and he turned around, come back, and shook hands, and we kind of hugged. And I got my picture to it with him, so that's another.
That's what it's all. That's what it's all about, man. I'm telling you. And I'll tell you who I saw, who I didn't talk to, but you know, on Cole's channel, how he does that Kusa, he has that one knife and the guy riding it with the turban.
The Colsa.
Colsa, yeah.
Yeah, the Colsa. Yeah.
He was there. He was at Blade Show. He's got gray hair now, but he still wears the exact same clothes. And he was at Spyderco's booth, and Cole talked to him. But I thought, I mean, you bump into the strangest, most interesting people there. And I urge you guys, if you ever get a chance, because it might be easier depending on where you guys live, is your local knife shows, like the Nashville Custom Knife Show. I've met so many people there. That's where I first met Doug Ritter, and where we started talking about, Grateful Panic and Shane had kind of come up with the idea, and I've talked to him about it, and it was just, I met John Gray at that show. I met Andrew Demko at that show. I met Chavez at that show, Ramon, and then saw him again at Blade Show. But all these people are just normal people. That's what's these knives that we covet so much and that we love, and the people that make them are people like us that just have a talent. Guys, I'm going to pull for the giveaway. Is everybody in there that wants the shot at the Savivi? Because, again, I don't want to have my squirrel brain take over and make me miss something. I'm going to draw this. Because I'm going to have.
It won't be me. I ain't that lucky.
Autumn win. She's won twice, or he's won twice in a row.
How about that?
Oh, heck yeah.
Congrats. Have you guys all been to shows?
You going live tonight, Maddie?
Yes.
Win, if you would send me your address again. I know it's going to be at the UPS store, but I don't think I have the real name, which I don't need. But just if you will, I'm going to throw my email or my IG in the chat. And if you will I will go check, make sure you're good over with our buddy Sharif, and we will send this out to you next week. Congratulations. Now I need to take a note so I don't forget it, so I can reach out. Hold on one second, and then I'm going to make that go away, and we can continue talking. I'll make it go away before that. Boom.
So you guys have all been to shows before? Have you?
Yes.
I have.
You guys have all been.
I went to my first Blade show. I went to my first Blade show last year. And it's something that I want to make an annual event because it was just awesome. And the knives are great, but the people are better.
Yeah.
This is going to be my first one this year.
Amen.
Texas would probably be the easiest one. Fifth State, I know he's from there. If I went to a show, I'd probably end up divorced. I'd spend so much money. It's hard. I can't find one that's the only one that I can find that works with my schedule. Was the one that happened a couple weeks ago, in
New
California.
York? Oh, okay.
Or the California Tactical, basically the CCKS or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was like my buddy and I threw up we were like, all right, it's usually when we go golfing, we would rather go to Phoenix, hang out, or go to California.
Hey,
I was like, eh.
Hey, Scotch and things. Have you go to Vegas at all?
I haven't been to Vegas in probably 15 years. There is one.
You got the Usual Suspects network too.
But it's in October, isn't it? I think it's.
I couldn't tell you exactly when. I just know
I have to kind of plan stuff around my work schedule. Like I gotta I got to work when I have to work so I can buy knives. But like, I take most of the winter off, and it just seems like there's nothing in the dead of winter, and then everything is in the spring or fall or summertime, and it's hard to get away from work then.
So you're in Nebraska?
Yeah.
There ain't shit close to you.
There's nothing.
Guys, I'm gonna call it. I'm fading.
There's nothing.
Dude, thank you so much, buddy. I hope you get well soon, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Soldier on. I hope tomorrow is a full day. Any Friday, dude. You're a welcome member of this panel.
Thanks, bud.
Have a good night, Bob.
I will see you all at some point. I'm going to Monster Jam tomorrow, so I don't know. I ain't going to be on anything tomorrow night. But I don't know. I might come
at least you take advantage of when you feel good. You get out on your bike and you make things happen. Monster Jam's making it happen.
All right, guys. I'll see you later.
See you, dude.
Yeah, the Vegas one, it's just kind of hard to.
Yeah.
Like,
I was going to say, you can go see
shows in June.
My cousin lives in Omaha. You can go see her and get a tattoo.
I need some more work done. Is she any good?
I mean, she's getting old, so I don't know.
If you have to pause, that's a no on tattoo.
That's a.
No, I haven't.
Are you offering like a discount? Does she have like a discount code?
I hate to say it, but I haven't. Since I got rid of Facebook 10 or 11 years ago, it's really sad. I haven't spoke to her since.
Shit, she could be retired.
Yeah, she could be, because she lives in, like I said, she lives just outside of Omaha. I forgot the name. Some little suburb, kind of deal.
Yeah.
And having family that lives all over the country, and my grandmother's passed away, and that was really our communication source. I've lost touch with so much family since, as people start, you know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
I used to love she's probably 12 or 13 years older than me, so she would be right around 60. And I used to love going and hanging out with her, though, because she smoked weed and she was a tattoo artist. And when I was a kid, it was the coolest thing in the world, to go and hang out with your pot smoking tattoo artist cousin.
That's cool.
Because to me, in the 80s and the early 90s, the fact that she was a woman with full sleeves, full back tattoo, full leg tattoo, it was just unusual back then for a woman to do that. And I just always thought she was just cool as hell.
Tattoos are like going to like a knife show. It's like I want to keep doing it. Like I've got to get a half sleeve finished and it's partially done. And I keep saying I'm going to do it, and then it's just making the time to actually do it.
That's me. Is I got tattoos and then knives and knife shows and just different stuff. And it's like, well, which one do I do this week? Which one do I do this month? And it's like, there's just not enough money.
No, and not enough time. I mean, time, the money is at least replaceable. The time's not.
Yeah.
So I just got your notifications work, sir. Or Stevie's work. Going live here shortly.
What was the question?
No, it wasn't a question. I was saying your notifications work. I just got it that you guys will be live in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I just got one too.
Oh, yeah.
So you said you had dinner last year with Super Steel Steve?
Yeah.
How was that? Because I watched that thing a couple weeks ago that just seemed like a train wreck.
And that's why I was trying to. I was trying to chime in. He's nothing like that. He's loud. He doesn't have an inside voice, but he is absolutely the warmest, kindest. Because I thought the same thing. I was in charge of Jared and Bama Night Guy, and I were looking for Steve in the show at this one time, and I was the one that found him. But I didn't want to go approach him and I was surprised at how he was my size. He wasn't as big as I thought he was going to be, but I didn't know if he'd just yell at me. So I kind of stood back and let Jared go tap on his shoulder and kind of fuck with him. And he just turned around and gave Jared a bear hug, gave Bama a bear hug. He didn't know me from Adam's house cat. Said, "Oh, hey, John," and gave me a bear hug. I mean, and we hung around the rest of the afternoon. He's just a delightful guy. What he is he's very passionate about the community, and he comes off as a hater, but he's not really. What he is he just wants people to be informed. And not everybody cares about HRC. I'm that guy. I don't care about it as much.
That's
I'm one of them too.
I made a video on it because I had said something in one of
I loved your video on it. Yeah.
I don't care. Like I use, like, don't get me wrong, like there's shit like this where it'll never go on a construction site. But even like I don't care. Like I don't care the blade steel. Like there's stuff I prefer, but I don't care about heat treat because I honestly can't tell. I couldn't tell if something was what, you know, 1 or 2 or 3. I mean, and someone was like, well, your edge will roll or this or that. I'm like, I use the knife until it's dull. I can put a shitty edge on something, or I'll send it off to someone, or I'll switch out and use another knife. I just don't.
I don't either.
I get it.
The thing with Super Steel Steve, when it comes to hardness and steel, he's a master chef. And when you're cutting meat and vegetables all day,
Steve,
his geometry and the hardness of the blade matters, along with ergonomics.
Yeah,
that's so it matters to him because of what he does as a profession. He's a master chef.
I get it. Like
he's real passionate about it.
You know, because I'm just using my stuff and it's rubbing against steel and I'm killing the edge anyway. And I've watched this stuff for years, and I'm pro. I think I've seen, like, you know, you start budget, and I'm not like beating on a drum, but most everything I have now is US made. But I don't care what I mean, if you want to buy whatever you want to buy, it's just like music. Everybody's got their own taste.
Hey,
I agree with that 100%.
I just kind of found what I like, and it just I just went with that, you know. So
yeah, and I find that stuff that Steve and Outpost, I mean, it's invaluable that they take the time to do limited cut tests and, you know, report to the community. Just so I think their whole angle is if a manufacturer is using a steel and touting it as the new greatest steel, but not heat treating it, for most of us, 99%, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't know because I'm so stupid. You could tell me I'm getting MagnaCut, and I could probably be happy with the D2 steel unless somebody told me differently or I tried to sharpen it, right? And I sharpen knives because I like to, not because I need to, because I dull them. But it's, you know, everybody's different. That's why I always think the community is such a valuable place, because you learn from people why steel's important or why they think steel's important instead of just coming against it like, you know. And I think a lot of it is a persona. Like Super Steel Steve, I feel like has always been attacked for his views, so he kind of comes back at it that way. But he doesn't even see it as an attack. When he and Stevie were going back and forth, when Stevie joined the live, they, I think, even started playing with each other because they knew that it was kind of a persona. And I have a feeling when they bump into each other at Blade this year, that they'll hang out and enjoy each other. Because to answer your question, after that long roll, he's a fantastic guy. He's just like we are. That's just his little niche of what he knows about and is important to him.
Yeah, people ask me, like, I just had a comment today about a Chris Reeve and MagnaCut, and they asked me, they were excited they were getting one in, and how did I like it? And I used it on the job for a long time, and I'm like, I couldn't tell the difference between that and S45, honestly. I just couldn't tell you. Like, I use it, it cuts, it didn't pry so well. I mean, that's my world. Like,
And that's all of our world, if you think about it.
Yeah.
What you use your knife for is uniquely what you use your knife for. Today, I was using it to cut paracord to try to cover a window where I ripped the side of my vehicle off 3 days ago. I won't even talk about that. So Ray wouldn't get into it. And that didn't really work out. But I was able to use my knife, and I was using my chickadee because it was easier to get off my belt than it was to get my hinder while the wind's blowing 80 miles per hour. And I'm trying to get this little like hammock tarp over it. Long story. But yeah, it's not many people are going to say, okay, I'm going to set out with this knife and see how many feet of cardboard I can cut or how many cuts to this rope I can get. But I'm glad that there are people who do that just to inform. Because I think there's some knife makers who say, whoa, we didn't know that our steel was that soft. We need to make an adjustment in our heat treat. And so maybe for the greater good, it does help makers evolve. I know, just like Jason said, he takes feedback from the community to make himself better. And a lot of times that feedback comes a different way. Sometimes it's loud. Because I know Steve, one thing that I respected for is several years ago, he walked into Spyderco's booth in the Spyderco Sucks shirt when their heat treats were bad. And he'll go up and he'll jump in Microtech's booth, just raising hell to where they have to escort him out. So he's an equal opportunity offender, but he just does it because he believes passionately, and a great guy and a great asset, I think, to the community. Misunderstood, a good dude.
It just seemed kind of like it kind of went off the rails a little bit. And I don't know if it was for show or.
I think it was like it was authentic because I think a lot of us. I only speak for myself. I have crippling ADHD unless I'm medicated, and I see a lot of people who deal with ADHD. And it could have been that because the reason Shane had him on was to talk about his knives. Because Super Steel Steve just started. He is a member of the Georgia Knife Makers Guild. So he's legit, and he's just releasing these handmade kitchen knives, and that's what Shane was going to talk to him about. But when Shane asked him about the hardness, that's when they started talking because the comments were talking about hardness. And so Steve didn't even promote his knives. He was just going off on what he's always done, which is stand up for the validity, whether we use it or not, of that hardness does matter in terms of edge retention, and that we sometimes get misled by companies that charge us for something that's not necessarily going to perform like what we pay for.
So Dave and I were talking about that. It's like not we're all into knives, but then there's hobbies within the hobby. Some guys really geek out over sharpening. Some guys geek over steels. Some people want to mod. And there's just a ton of stuff to offer.
And that's what's great about us. And then you get everybody in a room or at the pit, and people love each other. So that's why I hate to see chats, because I know that when I date, that chat is the number one way to miscommunicate with somebody. Because depending on what they're thinking, they read into a chat. They don't know what it means. And the same thing happens in the community. You know, a lot of feathers get rustled by miscommunication.
Amen.
So you just got to be more open and understand that everybody's different, but everybody's drawn to the hobby for the same love of the basic reason that we all are. They just have different niches that they fall into. The only one I don't understand is the Valley song, but I still love them.
I've got one on the way, maybe. I might borrow one from a buddy, and that's a knife I've never actually held. And it was like the first knife I ever truly remember, other than my Rambo knife. There was a store in the mall that sold swords, and it was like an Asian store, and they had we called them butterfly knives. But it was that and throwing stars, and my mom would let me and my little brother buy throwing stars, but we couldn't buy this butterfly knife. So we're in the backyard throwing these ninja stars around, but I couldn't have a knife that did this. So
we must be about the same age, because I had the same store in the mall, and ninja stars.
It must have been a chain.
And I would get the different ninja stars because my mom thought that was okay. And my little brother's room was across, because we used to share a room before my parents added on their master's bedroom or whatever, before they went their separate ways. But so there was a little hall that my room, I had a bookcase that you could see when you walked in the door. Long story short, I didn't go outside to throw my throwing stars. I was sitting in my little brother's room. Thank God nobody walked into the bathroom while I was throwing them because they would have got one in the side of the head. But I would sit there and throw those damn things and stick them into my bookcase that's still in my childhood room. So when I go by to visit my mom and I walk by the childhood room where one of her cats hangs out at night, I can see all those hundreds of holes in the side of that cheap bookcase where I would just fucking fling them down the hall.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to get my own room here in a couple months, 6 months or whatever. And we were talking, and I told my buddy, I'm like, I'm getting some swords to hang on the fucking wall. And he's like, that sounds tacky. I'm like, that's all I wanted when I was a kid. I thought I was going to be a ninja, man. I had magazines. I watched the movies. I was going to be. I wanted the little boots where your toe went. Like, I was going to be a ninja.
We just didn't know that you didn't. But they just didn't pay well. We didn't know that the real life was cut out for us ninjas. I think we were all ninjas at heart, and that's something for me. It was COVID, and it wasn't the fact of COVID. It was just the fact that I was home and watching YouTube. And I'm fascinated because before that I was into guitar effects and I was buying all kinds of effects and I was watching guitar videos. And then somehow the knife thing had been dormant in my brain. I know this because when it turned on, that's all I watched. And part of it's ADHD, but part of it's the love of knives that I had as a kid because I still got my childhood knives that I keep at my dad's safe. But guys, we're about 10 minutes from Satisfaction. I know he's got to get out of here. Now I'm going to let everybody say goodbye, and we will see y'all next week. Dark Gravity, you got any parting words?
No.
I'm glad you came, brother. How about you, Scotch and Things?
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited for as many of these as I can. It's just fun to talk knives. I mean,
yeah, that's why I love having it this format because I learn every single week. It's not like me just the thing that's bad, I guess, is that it's hard for me, and I'll get better where I can communicate with the chat. That's why I try to get Grateful Panic to be part of this because he's such a master at watching the chat and communicating. I never want y'all to feel left out, but that's I'm glad y'all are here. Ed, you got anything to part out with? We know we can get you to Atlanta, so keep that in the back of your mind, brother.
You need to get John on some. He's hilarious.
Yeah, it's my favorite hour Sunday is or several hours, him and Edgy.
He is hilarious.
And I give Shane a hard time. He would have been here tonight, but he's out chasing the tail. Maddie, you got anything to say before you join everybody?
Just like Nemo said, be up.
Be up. Amen, brother.
Be up, guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I appreciate y'all. Love in your heart. Remember that. Debate before hate. And until we meet again, I love you all. Peace. Thanks for everything.